Hey, sorry, I was running late. I've been flapping my gums. How's everybody? I want to see who all's here. I see Hizzle and Earl and Nathan and Raw, and that's it. That's all I see right now. So, um, hey, gasp! I'm gray. Earl, I don't know. Were you were you a mod on my channel before? I don't. And Phantom. Um, I thought mod wasn't even a mod on my channel the other day. There's PC. Hello, PC. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't know. My free version is over tonight. So, and I never could get my trivia thing worked out to where I could get the trivia working yet. So I've still got to have probably Hizzle and maybe Phantom help me out on that right there. Um, I'm hoping I can get it done. um, I don't know what we're gonna do. I just wanted to hang out because I didn't have my trivia. I couldn't get my trivia working. Earl, is your person here that you were talking about? Earl had sent me a message. I don't know. Um, yeah. Oh, yeah. To me. So, were you wanting to talk to that person on stream, or you just wanting to talk to him in chat, or what? What's that? Or do you want to come on, Nathan? Let me pin the because I'm really terrible at this right here. At all this part. Let's see. Oh, you just want to hang out and chat? Well, I'm gonna post this link anyway. Um, there's the link. I don't know how to pin it to the top. I can star it. I don't know how to pin it to the top. Does that pin it? Um, I'm not very organized again. You want to come on, Earl? Okay. If you want to come on. Anybody else want to come on? You can put that on the chat. Um, no, no, I'll try to think of something we can watch. Okay, I'll give you 5 minutes. Okay, I'll try to think of something we can watch. I'm trying to think of something I've seen good that we could watch. No, it's okay. I can't talk in my religious home like you for things I say. Oh, okay. I know that feeling, Nathan. I know that feeling. Definitely. But nobody's in my home but me, so I can talk pretty much. But my parents actually were sneaking around though and watching my YouTube videos, my YouTube channel. And they didn't turn out well when I found when we talked about that. Yeah. Right before the art protest, um, they informed me that they'd been watching me on YouTube. It's kind of weird feeling. It's a weird feeling. I'm sure they did not like what they saw. But I told them that's what they get for spying on me. Actually. Um I'm thinking. Give me some ideals. Anybody got any ideals? I think of stuff all the time and then I can't. let's see if I can. I know kind of what I want to see. Um, Buddy, let's see. They already know I'm atheist, though. Yeah. What, Phantom? You can't think of nothing? Come on, you got all kinds of fun stuff. What'd you send me? Um, Earl, is that something I'm supposed to watch? Hey, my Filbert. What have y'all? I want to ask y'all. Have y'all ever heard of secular Quranism? It's kind of on topic for what? Politics. Hold on just a minute. I don't. I'm in StreamYard, so I don't have anything open. Um, so I was late getting in here and getting all this figured out. ASP. Oh, what have I done? I'm so organized. So organized. Let's see. Uh huh. Okay. Um. Interesting. Oh. Hey, Dawn. Hello, Dawn. Hey. It's good to see you. And I see Skeptic Philosophy, Robert. Hey, Robert, what about would you care if I like showed some of this secular Quranism stuff to them? Like what I can't remember what channel it was on though that she was on. What channel was it on? Was it on Objective Ethics? It was, wasn't it? It was on OE, right? Um yeah, I think so. Let's see. I want to show y'all this. This is interesting stuff. And my friend Skeptic Philosophy is getting ready to do a stream on this. Oh, um, is that Objective Ethics' video though? I was gonna show like their video. Um, let's see what. That's her channel. Okay. All right, Phantom. Okay. Let me see here. Share screen. Okay. Can everybody see that now? And then you can go back over here. Can y'all see this? There's Phantom.
Hey,
Hey, Phantom. Um, hey Scott, hello, hello. All kinds of good people. Yeah, Phantom, I've got it up there, but I didn't know what to watch on it. What do you think? And like,
So there's one that she did just like a few days ago, and she's got some shorts from or some videos from 13 hours ago. So I'm like, they're not very long. We could watch. Well, the ones there's like a 15 one from 13 hours ago. We could watch and just see
do you
what
know
we
how to
think.
do you know how to do that? Can you share it and not and like I mess it up every time. Like if I unshare, can you share it?
I can try.
You're probably better at this than I am.
Let
what
me.
did I do? What did I do? Um, let's see. Stop screen. Okay. All right. Now, yeah, I put you work since you got here.
All right. Here.
This is gonna blow y'all's mind. And my friend at Objective Ethics has already covered this, and my friend Robert, there, Scott Skeptic Philosophy, is going to cover this. I think next weekend. I think maybe, um, and yeah, he's going to do a better of a show on it too. So this is some really interesting stuff, ideals. This woman.
Yeah. I don't know how. I don't know what this is about, but let's see what we think.
I'm afraid I have to do this
Can you
again
hear it?
because
I can hear it.
of
Okay.
the
Can y'all hear it?
condemnation that I'm suffering. And I have so many comments I want to make, and so many of them have been deleted. But I have managed to save them and cut and pasted them on my blog. But I don't know how many people read my blog, and it would probably just be just as well if I tried to respond to all the comments on this video about me. And this is now what I will do.
Well, maybe like hold on a minute. Like hold it for a minute, Phantom.
Yeah.
This woman has this ideal called secular Quranism. Okay, she thinks that we should use the Quran. Like from what I can tell, the Quran is like this guide for society. Without, um, she claims that though not using like Allah, like so, you know, it's I don't know. It's
I haven't read too much into her blog, but it's some kind of Islamic version of law, uh, but applied secularly. Except that like it includes all the stuff that's like um, uh, if you're pregnant out of wedlock, like you're the lowest valuable person on in society and stuff like that. And uh, it's not secular Islam; it's secular Quranism. She's trying to. I think she's trying to differentiate it from the 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 religion. Anyway, I sped her up I sped up the video because like she's talking really slow, and I'd like her to
does
get
she
be
have
able to.
a video though where she explains what it is, or does she do that in this video?
I have no idea. I've not watched
Okay.
any of these videos. I just found her channel when you were looking for her. I found her
Yeah.
channel.
I'm pretty sure that
Okay.
none of us that are going to be on this stream are going to be interested in implementing her ideals.
Oh, I don't know. She might have a point here.
Oh,
Jacob
fam.
calls out Claire just below Claire. I don't know when that happened.
I've already referred to this more than 3 times. Basically, somebody was talking for an inordinately long time that I found objectionable, and then I said, well, I didn't say exactly that he was full of shit. I said, since the long-winded person in question was talking about wisdom, I interjected to say that it is probably wise to know who is, to be able to tell the difference between the people who are full of shit and the people who are not full of shit. And then Jacob jumped on to say that I was full of shit because I shouldn't be living in the West, because if I like Sharia so much, I should be living in some shithole country. Jacob is an unashamed Islamophobe. He's one of those Islamophobes who are proud to be an Islamophobe. So there's not much you can do to reason with him except to expect, a lot of below the belt punches, because he just hates you so much and actually can't be fair. And I know that he had to drop out of law school because he was so obviously biased that he, I guess it was suggested that he do something else instead. And I understand that there are people like that and they cannot.
I've never been to law school. Do they kick you out of law school for being biased? Doesn't
No,
seem
I'm
like
pretty sure. No. Like, yeah, no, I don't think that. I don't even think they kick you out of being out of the like the off the board, like the when you don't lose your license for being biased. But
yeah.
in fact, like certain law schools have been infected by like the Heritage Foundation, who is like, and the Federal Society. The Federal Society is who I meant to say. Federal Society is who has been training the people that are on our Supreme Court now with their originalism and textualism theory of law that on interpreting the Constitution.
Mm-hmm.
So
Even put themselves into the position of trying to be fair. And if he doesn't like what you say, he thinks you don't deserve to be treated fairly. And there's actually a verse in the Quran that says you have to treat your enemies fairly. And obviously the reason for that is to get them and not to fight so hard against you, because you're going to be fair to them. So all this happened on Luke's channel, and I don't really know if if anybody heard my responses, because I sort of know that nobody's listening properly to the with any degree of attention, and what they do is probably enjoy the outbursts without going back to check on what caused the outburst, and then the clips of it are very selective, as you will see from the Vanza clip of Jacob telling me that I'm full of shit. So my response was even included. So I said that it doesn't matter. It wouldn't affect the okay, let me start again. I do apologize. Jacob was saying that Muslims or anyone who wants Sharia to go back to their shithole countries, and if they don't, they're full of shit. And my response was that secular Quranism, which is my legal system, that I believe would solve the problems of the West, the economic, social, political problems.
What was that?
I said, oh gosh, problems solving. Okay, like I'm if you have a baby out of wedlock, first of all, she believes in like public beatings.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then my children, I would not only would I get a public beating for having a child out of wedlock twice. I would have had 2 beatings. My children would not be allowed to attend regular school until like I had repented or something. But this is supposed to be a secular system. Yeah. I think she might be confused on what the word secular means, actually.
Of the West would be solved by secular Quranism. So it doesn't really matter where I live, and it would actually help matters if I lived in the West, because if I lived in, say, the North Pole or any of the, shithole countries that Jacob has in mind, I wouldn't be speaking to Westerners with any degree of authority, because the predictable response from them would be, you don't even live in the West, so, why are you telling us what to do? And, that kind of thing. But if I lived in the West, I would say, well, I understand the culture, the history, the people, and therefore I understand the problem and I know the solution. And that's basically my reasoning. I don't know if it, if it even came across, because what Jacob has been doing now is turn his volume right up so he can, overspeak, overtalk anybody who he doesn't like. And I knew that, well, I was arguing with him, and then I was removed from the stream by Luke, because he does that, right? Just when the conversation is getting interesting, and even when his viewers and subscribers would like to hear it continue, he just has to end it, when it begins to become interesting. Otherwise, it's just, a queue of spurs waiting their turn to spur.
Well, hey, Phantom, like,
Yes.
no, this is weird. This one's weird. Why don't we look at, like, Objective Ethics did a video with her. Like, she was on his show, and,
Okay. Let me see
like,
if I can.
yeah, Oise. Find Oise, because I think she explained, like, when it first comes on, before they let people on to criticize her.
Oh, that
she,
would probably
I think
skip
she,
that. Let's
I think
see.
she explains it though, like what it is or something. It would probably be better if everybody could see what it is that says it.
To keep people on their toes and keep them being responsible married parents, and not be divorcing each other under the rules of no fault divorce, and not being irresponsible parents. And I think if you're going to take that cynical view of religion, then that is what religion is for. It is for frightening people in their 20s, men of fighting age, and women of childbearing age, to sooner rather than later become married parents, or suffer the consequences of not doing so. That is basically, I hope, my contribution to political philosophy. All the 5 world religions basically promote the idea of patriarchy, and out of the 5 world religions that we know of, the organized religions, i.e. the Abrahamic religions, are the ones who are better at organized violence, and better at acquiring empire, and better at imposing their hegemony on the rest of the world. So it's just something that I noticed, with Westerners, that they're no longer interested in Western religions. They think Eastern religions might be more fun. But I'm just saying, just stick with your organized religion, because that was what made your empires great. I know your ruling classes are not so competent or honest, but I have a solution to that.
I
Okay,
appreciate that introduction. You mentioned a couple things already to get us
probably
started.
from it. All right, y'all, Pixie and Doom. We're watching Objective Ethics. My friend there, it's his stream, and he had a guest on who is promoting secular Quranism, and she would like to implement this in our society, and it's supposed to be secular. It's very, very interestingly weird stuff, and actually, Skeptic Philosophy is going to have her on his channel on the 21st. He's going to be interviewing her again, so if y'all want to see more of that, you can definitely come and watch his stream on the 21st. If he can get a link to me, I'll try to get the link after a while and post it. Go ahead, Phantom.
Very interesting to me. But one thing I did want to ask, and I want to make sure to be really clear, I'm not telling anybody, whether it's you or anybody else, how they should identify when it comes to these labels or anything else for that matter. It's a personal journey our lives are. So identity is a real important part of being an individual, and how we express ourselves individually. But I have studied, I don't know how much you know about my background, but I actually have studied world religions in college. I even attended a Christian seminary. This is many years ago, of course. But now I do not have a Bible degree. I would not sign a statement of faith because I was not a believer. I've always been an agnostic, actually. So they allowed me to do what's called auditing classes. We have to pay a much higher fee per class, and you don't get any college credit towards any certificates or degrees, but you're allowed to take the classes. So I do have quite a bit of background in religious studies. And one of the areas of study was the origins of atheism and agnosticism. So when I refer to myself as an agnostic, I'm really referring to myself based on the original etymology of the term agnostic. And so a lot of people in modern parlance use terms like atheism and agnosticism quite differently than they really started out. So for me, an agnostic, and how I identify as agnostic, is it's twofold. And on one hand, I neither believe nor disbelieve in gods or supernatural events. But the second part, and where the gnosis part really comes in, I don't think it's possible to know about any existence of any gods or any supernatural events, because things that we can't observe directly, measure, and test with empirical evidence, we can't really, I don't think we can make definitive claims one way or the other. So I never make the claim, the hard atheist claim, there is no God, but I don't make the positive claim there is a God either. I just really don't think we can even know this question. So when you refer to yourself as an agnostic, is this the camp that you find yourself in, or what does agnostic even mean to you?
It means I accept that atheists cannot prove to the satisfaction of those who want to believe in God that God doesn't exist, and it's the same the other way round, that theists cannot prove to the satisfaction of people who wish to remain atheist, that God exists. But what I think everyone can agree on is that religion has social, political, and moral uses.
I think
and that is enough.
Yeah, no, so I think we're on the same page then. It comes down to knowledge and whether we can actually know, and the burden of proof is on either party making the positive claim. So atheism is actually this large umbrella term, just like theism is, right? Theism covers all God beliefs under one umbrella. Atheism covers a large umbrella of different types of beliefs, technically speaking. So hard atheism makes the definitive claim that there is no God, whereas soft atheism would be just simply a lack of belief. Then, of course, you have things like Buddhism or Jainism or Taoism or whatever, where they don't actually have a God figure. So it's considered an atheistic religion as opposed to theistic. So atheism is really kind of a broad term, but the hard atheist does incur a burden of proof. If you're going to say there is no God, then you actually are making a claim at that point. And of course, the theist is naturally incurring a burden of proof. If you're going to say there is a God, then you are incurring a burden of proof. So the agnostic position simply says, I don't think either side has met the burden of proof. It sounds like you and I are on the same page there. Does that sound right to you?
Yes, sorry, could you just repeat what you said in a sentence? I'm sorry.
Well, I think it comes down to burden of proof, and I think you and I both agree that neither the hard atheist nor the theist has satisfactorily met the burden of proof. And I don't think it's possible personally, but whether you think it's possible or not, I think we both agree that neither side has really definitively proven their case. I do agree with you that religion does actually have, does serve a purpose in many cases, and I think that purpose has changed significantly over the years, and it goes both ways. I think there are many good, positive things about religion. Personally, I'm not an anti-theist, but I also think that religion has been used to justify terrible, terrible acts throughout history. So it definitely can be very useful for both good and bad, in my opinion. And, one example.
It's like a weapon.
Hey, hold it, Brandon.
I agree 100%. I agree 100%.
What was that?
Hold up. Let's say hi. Let's say hi to Earl. Earl's here. Hey, Earl.
Hello. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you fine. I hear you great. Brandon, can you hear Earl?
Oh yeah.
Okay. All right, we're watching secular Quranism. You're gonna love this.
Great. Secular Quranism?
Yes.
What the Okay. Okay.
It seems like she's trying to take and I would guess Sharia law and like take out the religious aspects of it and just keep the laws.
Yeah, we wouldn't have to pray like 5 times a day, I guess.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I assume that was probably the secular part, but like all the rest of it sucks too. So like,
yeah, and she's done made the statement that we all agree that it has uses in society, and I will agree it has uses. I don't necessarily agree.
Yeah, as kindling.
I don't necessarily think that I agree that it is like, a net positive.
Right.
Yeah. So, all right, go ahead, Phantom.
100%. People, because a lot of people who follow my channel know I've spoken openly about it. My father was murdered when I was a child, and a lot of people have asked me, well, if you could get rid of all the guns in the world, would you do it? And my answer to that is, well, no, because that doesn't really solve the problem. If we took away all the guns, then people would just kill each other with hatchets or knives or chainsaws or flamethrowers or whatever people have access to. That's not the issue, is the violence. So I figured if we could get rid of something, if we got rid of the violence, then the gun problem would take care of itself. And I see religion as being the same way. Religion gets used for many things, like any other tool. And so if we get rid of the core problem of hate and bigotry and prejudices, right, then we could cure all the ailments that religion has been used for doing evil things. And we could just focus on the positive things. People's religious beliefs have helped them get off drugs and alcohol or overcome terrible family trauma or personal trauma or whatever it might be. So
I don't know that you can do that with religion, though. Like, the reason that happens in large part is because you've got an in-group and an out-group. And whenever you have that dynamic, the out-group gets dehumanized. And like a religion is like, that's just built into the religion. I don't know that you could separate that.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know either. Scott says, why an ancient book? Why not the Humanist Manifesto? And I would say, yeah. And the Humanist Manifesto is updatable. Yes, that is good. And the Humanist Manifesto actually does not say that you must follow this. Like it's not a command. They're not commandments. They're recommendations or something. So like it's not a something that you force on people.
There's good uses in society for religion, and I also, having studied religion, the reason I spent so much time and money doing that is because I find it fascinating. It's tied directly to societal evolution. It's tied to culture. There's wisdom literature. There's poetry. There's a lot of beautiful things that you find in various religious texts.
Yeah. And so I think all religions, or certainly the 5 world religions that we've heard of, will have something to do with sex, violence, law, and war, and the acquisition of empire. Because, fundamentally, religion is a mode of human organization.
Is her argument that religion is good because it allows you to get empires? It sounds like that's what she's saying.
It sounds like that. Yeah, yeah. That's like yeah. And most of the some of the worst things that religions have done have been in the while they were seeking empires.
Yeah.
They-
I'm trying to think of any empire that's been considered like really good. I mean, I guess kind of the Roman Empire in a way, but it was also not very good in a lot of ways as well.
yeah, I think anytime you probably go to other people's lands and you try to force, you take them by force. Yeah, probably not going to end up well.
Yeah, so like I don't know. I'm not sure I even buy the premise of her argument.
Yeah, power. Like she places high value on some really strange things.
Organized under shared beliefs, values, and the agreement to obey certain laws.
Now, you're mentioning, I just want to clarify, you're mentioning the 5 major world religions. I assume you're talking about the 3 Abrahamic: Christianity, Islam, and Judaism, and along with then Hinduism and Buddhism?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah.
Yes. I mean, let's just stick to the top 5 because, why make things more complicated?
Right, that's fair enough. So, now, you did mention, let's see, I'm trying to figure out what direction, because I really do want to talk about these 7 Noahide laws compared to my 7 pillars of ethics, because I did not actually use those as inspiration or reference for my own 7 pillars of ethics that I came up with. It just came as an evolution from the book project that I'm working on with my views on objective morality. But when I listed these side by side, I'm just like, wow, there's a lot of similarity there. So maybe we should just jump right into that, actually. That probably would be the thing to do. Let me add this to the stage. Now, unfortunately, let me take for Chris, it's so good to see you, by the way. I see you in the comments there, and I agree with you on that. Let's see, let me add this. The writing is really small, so I don't even know if people in the chat and in the audience, if you can even read that or not. I apologize. I put this up last minute here. I was trying to scramble to get ready. I should have done a better job. But when you compare the 7 pillars of ethics, which I came up with, to the 7 Noahide laws, well, now this is found in the Quran, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So,
sorry, the Noahide laws, did you say?
yes.
It is actually found in the Talmud.
The Talmud, the Jewish Talmud. Oh, okay. Okay. So now, is there a codified set of laws in the Quran?
Well, the Islamic scholars would have, a list of, certain things. But for the Quran, it's quite easy because, there are the commandments of Allah, and Allah is saying, do this and don't do that. And but the same applies to God in the Torah. It's just the New Testament that presents a problem because none of the authors are Jesus or God, and they don't say anything clearly. And this, I think, is a great source of Christians, trying to agree with each other.
So what she's saying is that the Jewish Bible, the Talmud, was written by God, and the Quran was written by God, but just the New Testament was not written by God.
I don't think is she saying that?
Well, I mean, it's pretty much she said that that's why the New Testament was problematic, because it was not written by Jesus or God. Like I guess the Quran was written by Muhammad, not God, but it was written by Muhammad, but supposedly. But and in I guess Moses wrote the Old Testament. Most of it, they think. Yeah. Yeah. I think she might be confused on who the authors of all of her books are. Actually.
I don't know. It's weird because she says she's an agnostic. So like,
She's not an agnostic. She said, "Here's here's the trick words that she used in that Phantom." She said that atheists could atheists could not convince believers that there was not a God, and that theists could not convince atheists that there was a God. Okay, but she's not an atheist, so you know, what I mean, she didn't never say that she didn't believe in God. She just said that she didn't believe that theists could convince atheists that there was a God. That's how she.
Hmm.
That's how she.
Well, but
worked
she agreed
that.
when he asked if she was an agnostic. She said, "Yeah."
I know, but that's how she defined agnostic. Like that. Like she
Hmm.
gave her own definition of agnostic.
Okay.
Yeah. See that you got to watch for those weasel words. Earl, do you have anything you want to say?
No, all of this is very odd. Like,
Yes.
why? Why?
Yes. It's like
I don't see the
wait.
point in trying to shoehorn in religion under any version. Like this is just new branding, and it's bad marketing, and yeah, I am not a fan.
Yeah, she redefined like she defined agnostic. She said, it's my belief that atheists cannot convince believers that there is no God, and that believers cannot convince atheists that there is no God, that there is a God.
The
And
latter is dedefinitely true. The former is not.
well, I mean,
But
like that's not that's
but
like she's trying to say though, but she's pinning it down to that they cannot convince atheists. But like, you know, what I mean, she's not saying
mhm,
that there's no way they can't know there's a God. She's just saying they can't convince us that there's a God. You know what I'm saying? She's
uh-huh.
like there's something broken in the atheist brain that prevents us from being able to believe in God. That's kind of how I took what she said.
Right. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like that's what information does.
Yeah.
It can kind of break your brain from believing in made up shit. Like,
But
oh,
that's why she redefined it so that she could say that she was agnostic, because she didn't define it the way that OE did.
well, and agnosticism has. I hate when people, like, especially the newly deconverted, they tend to say agnosticism as though that in itself is a religious category. Um, like agnosticism speaks nothing about whether you believe in God or not.
Yeah.
It's a knowledge claim. It's not. And so this sounds like some postmodernist fucking wackery where she's just trying to like make up new words to mean things so that it fits in her delulu little narrative so that she can play Pollyanna and like try to
She's
heal the
definitely
world.
not
This
a
sounds
modernist.
very this is a grift. This is a grift.
She's definitely not a new modernist though. Like there's nothing modern at all about her ideals. Go ahead, Phantom.
No, postmodernism is a
Yeah. Oh, postmodernist. Yeah.
yeah, postmodernism is a Philbro. It's basically what the right has been doing this whole time. While decrying postmodernism because they don't understand what it actually is.
Jordan
Um,
Peterson's right. Just Jordan.
it's like where words don't have like it's that bullshit where it's like, well, what do you mean by the word is
Yeah.
it's this fucking Jordan Peterson
Yeah.
um making up new definitions because words don't words can mean whatever they want to mean, and that's
Yeah.
drives me fucking insane.
Mental masturbation is what it is. Mental
Yeah.
masturbation. All right, go ahead, Phantom.
on, you know, what the laws are supposed to be.
So is there? So like, I guess what I'm confused because that's one text. The three Abrahamic faiths, the one I know the best because I went to a Christian Bible seminary is Christianity, of course, and various denominations of that. But I'm somewhat familiar with Judaism, and then Islam is the one I'm least familiar with. So in the Hebrew Bible, we have the 613 Mosaic laws, right? And then the Christians tend to focus on the 10 Commandments based on New Covenant theology. And so in the Quran, is there something that would be akin to that, where there's actually like a list of thou shalt nots, or do they? Because I know that they borrow a lot from the Hebrew Bible. Obviously, they reject the New Testament.
Yeah, so Muslims should have no problem agreeing with the 10 Commandments because they're all in accordance with Islamic thought and Muslim morality. But of course, the Sabbath, they would say, well, that's for Jews. And Jews would also say, well, the Sabbath is just for us, not Gentiles. And some of the more traditional Jews would actually try and make the Gentile break their Sabbath, because they're annoyed that, Gentiles just took, culturally appropriated their holy book and, had a different interpretation to them. But as you know, Muslims have the 5 pillars of Islam. And there will be lists of other things. But yeah, it's codified in the sense that, you will be able to find God saying, do this and don't do that.
I've been interacting a lot with Muslims lately. I've been on various social media platforms, and I got onto a couple where the majority of the people that I'm running into, and this might be because of timing, because I tend to do this after work, and I work late nights at the restaurant. And so it might just be the timing issue. People here in America are in bed where they should be. But so I talked to a lot of people from the Middle East, in particular, all the way from Iran to India, Bangladesh, Pakistan, Egypt, all over, some people in Africa even. So I've been meeting a lot of Muslims, and they've been telling me that I should read the Quran. And my understanding with the Quran is it's not written in order. And I don't know if I'm saying that very well, because the Bible, for example, it's the story is kind of laid out chronologically from Genesis all the way to Revelation. However, the books were written in a significantly different order than what they're presented, right? Yeah. So the Quran, my understanding is it's not actually written in a chronological order. So you have to really have somebody who knows a lot about it to kind of explain. If you just read it starting at the first page 1 and went all the way to the last page, you probably would be very confused, is what they're telling me. Is that true?
I have heard it said that if you really want to read the Quran,
Phantom, I have an objection.
You have the shorter chapter.
Okay.
I think it is a little like sex because the weirdos are always trying to shove it in where it's not wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Touche.
just wanted to... Okay, go ahead.
So you won't find it, so demanding of your concentration, because if you start from the beginning, the first chapter, it's all laws, it's all legalistic, and it might not be so much fun. But that's where all the laws are. So I guess that's why they put at the front, like, well, in order to understand Islam, these are the things Muslims are, supposed to do or not supposed to do. But if you want, the shorter ones, they're at the back.
Okay. Now, before I get into the specific 7 no headlines with 7 pillars of ethics, let me ask you about this, because I meant to. Your title of your channel is Secular Quranism. So what does that actually mean? I know what secular means, and I know what the Quran is, but when you put those words together, what actually is secular Quranism?
It is a legal system designed to restore social conservatism, and by this I mean the patriarchy in the West, and I'm doing this to restore the practice of marriage and family values and stable marriages and stable families. That's really the aim of it.
I do believe very much in personal autonomy. My entire ethical system from objective morality comes from the idea that all human beings are moral agents and they have an equal right to their freedom and well-being, which means women and men are equal in my worldview. All human beings are equal. Now, decisions and actions, this is not equal, right? We can judge various actions as being harmful, but as far as people at a basic level are all equal. So I do think that women have a right to their own bodies, for example, complete autonomy over their own bodies, as all human beings should.
So do I, really.
Well, but I do support the idea that the family is important and that a healthy family environment is better for children. But I don't support creating laws around that necessarily, because it removes people's autonomy.
Well, at the end of the day, we all have free will. Even if, say, if we did a certain thing, there would be consequences. We can still decide whether we want to pay, to face the consequences.
So you still got the choice to do the thing she doesn't want, but you'll just have to get punished for it.
Yeah, free will.
I mean, yeah,
you got free will. It's free,
and therefore it's not infringing on your autonomy, because you.
This is probably worse than anything. When you wait till we get into it, this is worse than anything that any man came up with. Like this woman right here, she wants to restore the patriarchy, and I'm pretty sure that from what I've heard,
Restore? Was it ever broken?
um, I guess she thinks it is. Um,
I
like,
got news for her.
like this is maybe the patriarchy was like this maybe during like the Spanish Inquisition or something. I don't know. Um, it doesn't seem like yeah. And you have the free will, just like God. You have free will not to believe in God, and if you choose not to, you can go to hell. You know what I mean? That you have free will to choose hell. So this is sort of similar to God's idea of free will too.
Right. Free will, but with a gun to your head. Totally. Totally free. Unless you don't pick, kissing his ass and then
Yeah.
right.
Yes.
Burn
Yes.
for all eternity. Like, okay.
Yes. Yes. Well,
Sure, yeah, I'll do that.
cool. There you go. But
Not coerced at all. That's not extortion.
no, not at all. Free will.
Free will. Totally.
Go ahead, Pam.
The price of doing what we feel we have to do. So even if they say no murder, for example, that there's still people who murder, and no rape and no stealing. So I think being moral agents, we choose to do certain things. Perhaps you don't see the harm of sexual liberation from the rules of marriage and good parenting, which a lot of people don't because they don't really make the connection. But I think one of the reasons why the West is full of immigrants is because of their low birth rates caused by feminism, and I don't think women of my generation are particularly well served by feminism because women may start off young in their 20s and thinking I don't want to marry and who wants to be a mother or a wife, but I guess when the time has come and gone, when the option no longer exists, they probably only then decide that that's the thing that they most want to do in the whole wide world. And of course they can't admit it. There are lots of things I think that is causing a lot of mental illness.
So
So, Earl, she's talking about you.
well, so these women, they get caught up in feminism, and so they don't want kids,
Uh-huh.
and then they outgrow their fertile years, and
Mhm.
then they decide that they do actually want kids, really, but they can't admit it, and so she has no.
Secretly, I don't really hate kids, so okay. Okay.
So she has no anyone actually saying this. She's just decided that's the case.
Yes, because probably Allah or Muhammad one told her that.
Right. It really bites their ass that I have now gone my whole life and don't want crotch goblins and then can live my best single person life with my dog. It really just bites their ass. I don't know why they hate happy women so much.
Well, because like I have kids, I've been miserable, and so everybody else should be miserable too.
Most miserable when I was married.
No, I'm
With
not glad
kids.
I had my kids, but I not
They weren't
every,
my kids, but
like women were not people were not born to be mothers. Women were not born to be mothers. That is just something that happened, biological processes. It's not our purpose in life or our goal necessarily. So.
and yes, B.S. Lewis, I agree. They are delicious.
They're delicious.
Slow roasted. Honey mustard.
What is it? Nice picante bean or whatever it is. What are they called? Fava beans.
Yeah, fava beans and a nice Chianti. Yes.
Because people won't acknowledge that they made a mistake, so they double down and pretend it doesn't matter. And more and more people, fall into the same trap, and they also get angry and bitter. And I think it's now time for people to just say, well, we need to belong to a group. Even if we scorn the idea, even if we think, well, there's a welfare state, we don't have to put up with the crap from mum and dad and aunt and uncle and all that. But I think it's people that we keep seeing again and again and again that affirms our own identity. You get married, and maybe your marriage is not so happy, but the fact is your spouse reminds you of yourself. even if they do not agree with you. And you may have children, and you will have sort of undergone some trial and experience in bringing them up, and it will in some way have formed your personality and your.
Is she saying that you can't have an identity if you're not married, or like it's harder to have an identity if you're
That
not married?
seems to be what she was saying. That's the part that like made me perk up. Like, you see yourself in your spouse, so like
No,
you're not you if you're not with him. Like,
I
that's
did not see myself in my spouse. Like, neither one of
no.
them. I have two ex-spouses, and I didn't see myself in my spouse or with them most of the time either, actually.
Mhm.
I saw other women with them. So, like,
Right.
but,
Right?
like, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, no.
Mhm.
That's
Exactly.
that's just so weird to me. While we got it paused, what do you think of these? So Objective Ethics has put, his 7 pillars of ethics up to her seven no-ide laws, and kind of like said, okay, these are kind of the same.
Mhm.
So we've got public safety and do not murder. Okay, I can see how those are, similar. Public trust and do not steal. Okay, sure. Then we've got familial relations and no immoral sexual acts. Like, we're getting a little bit further from like, okay, I'm seeing the connection here. Now we've got personal autonomy and do not eat living animals, which what?
That's hers? Do not eat living animals?
Well, she said they came from the Talmud, so like I don't know, but yeah.
Well, I mean, what does that mean?
Well, if you eat a living, you can't eat an animal that's alive. I don't. I mean, it's pretty. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. The animal has to be dead when you eat it,
Okay.
which, like,
Most of mine usually are. I mean, I guess
Yeah, for most people, unless you're
oysters.
one of, I was about to say that was the one that came to my head, was oysters. But even then, because you
by
when
the
you
time
take them out of the water for long
raw
enough, they
oysters,
sort of
by the time you swallow them, they're dead.
right.
like I don't know.
Then we got justice system and established courts and laws. Okay, I got that. That makes sense. Now environmental harmony and no false idols, which like
Idols.
I'm not seeing a connection. I'm just not seeing any kind of
But he
connection.
said they were similar. He didn't say they were exact. I'm like, objective ethics is a very open-minded and respectful person who tries to put things in the best possible light when he's speaking with people. But, you know what I mean?
I do see one similarity, and that's that they're both the 6th one.
Mhm.
So like that they're similar in that way. But other than that,
There's 6 of them.
well, they're both the 6th in the list.
Oh, okay.
And then we've got virtue and do not curse God, which
Okay.
again,
And there goes our secular shit out the window. Whoop, do not curse God.
well, it went away with
No false
no
idols.
false idols for sure, and possibly with immoral, depending on
No immoral sex acts.
yeah.
Sex acts. Okay. Like, I'd say there are some immoral sex acts. They usually violate consent
Sure.
and age requirements, and that's about it.
Mhm.
And I mean, like, other than that, I don't have any problem with it.
Except those guys that wear diapers. I'm not. I mean, we don't kink shame in my house, but like
Our
that one.
president wears diapers. President wears diapers.
Well, I mean, as a kinky thing. Yeah, not for medical reasons.
Actually, Nathan, this
Wouldn't
is
wouldn't
secular
wouldn't shame
Quran.
anybody for that.
This is secular Quranism. I know because she invented it, and so therefore she gets to define what it is. So this is absolutely secular Quranism.
Yes.
Yeah.
Otherwise called utter bullshit.
It's probably the most inappropriately named thing I've come across in a while, but it is definitely secular Quranism.
Yeah, this is all very cringe. Very cringe.
Spirits, and this affirms your own identity. But if if we were just free spirits and we never married and we had sex with whoever, and they're no longer with us, and so there's nothing we can say to somebody. Oh, hey, do you remember? On such and such a date, we did this, and there was stuff happened, and they and I think the ability to share memories.
What?
So apparently you can only share experiences and memories with people you have sex with.
Or if you have sex with people casually, so you have multiple partners, you're just dumb and can't remember things.
Maybe
Like-
that. Maybe that.
I remember most of my sexual encounters. Can't say that that's been a problem. Really weird. This woman, she seems to have a very sheltered existence. Like anybody that lived my life. I mean, this all seems like a trope of a trope of a trope of a of a really bad stereotypes just over and over again. Yeah, and this is it's a super superficial like reading of just how humans behave and interact.
It gets worse.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Look forward to it.
Is so much a part of our human experience that we lose something of ourselves if we don't value it or don't have it.
I'm just typing a quick comment too, because one of the guests, Chris, had asked a question about. I'm going to put this on.
Chris Moore.
Chris,
yeah.
Actually, what I want to do is
Chris Moore is there.
The 7 Ohio laws.
Yeah.
Because
And comment
you can see
and
on the
like
list,
he is like,
I don't know if you
what
just found it, the
in the
7 pillars of
world?
ethics that I came up with when I was writing my book. As I'm writing my book, it's still a long way from being finished. But I came up, when I'm talking about objective morality, I came up with this idea that there would be these 7 pillars of ethics. If we adopted this, as every society adopted this, then it would take care of basically all the world's problems. And Claire is a proponent of the 7 Noahide laws, at least that's my understanding. And you can see a lot of similarities there. And I do want to get into, because Claire identifies as an agnostic, so I wanted to get into some of these that I do see as being problematic. So the guests are asking about these laws, so maybe I should jump into that. But I do want to touch on what you said about the family, because I grew up in a lot of broken homes, ended up on the streets when I was a teenager, had a difficult time getting my shit together. And a lot of that was because of the adults around me. They were just constantly fucking up my life. All the kids. I have so many stepbrothers and stepsisters for being adopted so many times. At one point, my legal last name was hyphenated 3 times. So divorce, I could definitely relate to how divorce leads to so many other societal problems: elevated crime rates, poverty, low income situations, uneducated people, so on and so forth. So I do have a real problem with the effects of the broken family system. But again, I'm just not in favor of creating any laws that take away people's autonomy outside of the justice system. So criminal behavior, we have to have justice. So we do have to separate criminals from society. But another issue, though, I think
That's not what he was talking about. He said that he was adopted multiple times.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know that has anything to do with divorce necessily. I mean,
Well-
you don't normally just give up your kids when you get divorced. It's not something that normally happens.
He has on his channel. There is a really good story. He has a really hard. He's had a really tough child. Like
Yeah, I mean, obviously it sounds like it, but he's. I mean, and I agree that divorce is hard on kids and should be avoided if possible. But
the guy that raised him as his father was actually murdered, and so his mom. Yeah. But he has a really good story. Like he's been through a lot, and he came out with a lot. He came out through it. And he's a really good person.
So one thing he's missing here, though, is he said he's not in favor of any laws that limit autonomy other than criminal laws. And what Claire's proposing is that we make divorce criminal. So it'll be criminal. So it'll be fine. He's got his problem solved.
Yeah, he's trying, like, objective ethics tries to maintain some civility between him and her, but like there's a lot of us in the audience that are like, wow. You know what I mean?
Yeah, making divorce illegal, that would have triggered the fuck out of me, for sure.
The comments are pretty wild.
I'm assuming she's saying that. I don't know that for sure. She may not be.
Oh no, she doesn't believe in letting people get divorced at all.
Oh, okay.
No,
fair assumption on my part then.
Yeah. I mean,
not just women, like anybody.
Of course.
Yeah.
Where we have a disconnect is I don't actually believe in free will. I'm in the process of having a discussion, kind of an informal debate with a Christian friend of mine who believes in libertarian free will on this channel. We had part 1, I think that was last week, and we're going to have part 2 of that discussion coming up in a few weeks in March. Yeah, that's been a really interesting discussion to have, free will versus determinism. But if I just grant free will for the purpose of our conversation today, which I'm happy to do, and proceed that way, I still don't think that changes my perspective on creating laws for autonomy. So let me ask you now, before I ask you about these no-hide laws, I should clarify. I'm under the impression, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm under the impression that if you were to be in charge of building a society, you would instill these 7 Noahide laws as law of the land in your society. Would that be a fair assessment?
No.
Oh,
no, absolutely not, because it actually says Jews are supposed to execute idolaters and blasphemers. No, what I want rabbis to do is to rank the 4 Gentile religions according to their conformity with the Noahide laws. And in this way, I think if they're being honest and rational, they would rank Islam the most Noahide, and therefore be obliged to support secular Quranism, which is an extension of the Quran.
Okay, well, that is a fundamental misunderstanding that I had.
What?
Okay, I'm failed to. Okay, I fail to see the difference. She's saying that. Oh, I know what she said. I get it. Okay, she said that we should not force people to accept this. That if you compare all those religions, that you would find that Islam is the most perfect one, and you would automatically adopt this in society. Yes.
I think she said that rabbis will say that Muslims are better at following Judaic laws than Jews are.
So this means like the Christians and the Jews have to become Muslims. Yes. And then we'll all just want this in our society once we've lost our mind and like start believing in winged horses and stuff.
That's okay. Well, that's. I don't think the rabbis are going to say, "Hey, Islam's better."
So if we just go down this list and compare them side by side, just real quick to kind of kick this off. On the right column, we've got the 7 Noahide laws. The first one is do not murder. And on the left column, I have one of my pillars of ethics is public safety. So my pillars of ethics are broad definitions that should cover a number of different actual actions, right? So murder would be under public safety. So there's a similarity there. Underneath that, we have do not steal from the Noahide laws, and I have public trust. So public trust for me would cover not just stealing, but contract law and things of this nature, coercion, scams, things of that nature, as well as just direct theft. So there's a real similarity there. One is the third one here I have listed, and I don't know if these are supposed to go in a particular order or not, but what it says here, the third one, no immoral sexual acts. Now I have familiar relations because my family relations for me in the 7 pillars of ethics is not supposed to be some kind of edict that prohibits divorce. However, it is supposed to be something that encourages people to take families seriously, right? To be responsible for your children. Whether you have children in or out of wedlock, we need to be taking care of our own children, taking care of our relatives, and taking responsibility for these people directly, as opposed to just letting the public do it. And, and there's so many welfare babies, they call them, that are happening in low-income houses and single mother situations, and that's a real problem for many reasons. So no immoral sexual acts. What exactly is that supposed to be a reference to? Because would that be a ban like against homosexuality, for example? Because that's something I could not support.
This is how it would work under secular Quranism. So anyone caught having offspring without a marriage license would be deemed a sex offender because of chapter 24, verse 2, that says unmarried parents will attract corporal punishment of 100 lashes. So that's what it says. And I think this is really the only way to discourage out of wedlock births.
That's wild. That's wild. So you're wow. I've not heard about people getting beaten for crimes in a long time. That to me seems a bit regressive. But I am a big proponent of deterrence. However, my feeling again now this is
He's trying so hard. Oh, bless him. He's trying so
a bit regressive. Like
it's a bit regressive.
it was fun watching this stream actually because it was kind of fun watching him try to like not just
Yeah.
be like,
Yeah, he's trying so hard to be polite. It's
And like I said, my friend Skeptic Philosophy is going to be bringing her on the 21st of this month. He's going to have her on again. So everybody tune in, go over there, and I'll try to get. I think his will post a link to the stream a while ago. I'll try to go get it and pin it. But yeah, I'll put it in this bit after this video is over. I'll put it in the comments or whatever. And so description, so you can be sure and come over and watch Skeptic, because Skeptic Philosophy is not probably going to be quite as
charitable
as Objective Ethics was.
Yeah, I certainly hope not, because that's wild.
But he wants to have her on, so
Yeah.
he will have to maintain some sort of stability, I guess. But
Oh, certainly, yeah.
I think he will. But I think Objective Ethics does pretty good at pushing back. He just doesn't.
Of course, she has that. She has the unfortunate advantage of being very soft spoken and very British, and so she sounds reasonable, even though what's coming out of her mouth is fucking insane. And those people are very. It's very easy to look like the bad guy. Talking to people like this, to be very careful about.
Yeah, Music Rap Brian says that they have listened to him a lot. She's a total nut job. Yeah, I figured that out already.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Phantom.
It's going to be based on my feeling about, which I said I wasn't going to do this necessarily, but because I don't believe in free will, my views on how we handle criminals is going to be significantly different than yours probably. But I even if I grant free will, let me put myself in the free will shoes for a second here. So even if I put myself in the free will shoes, I still feel, because a lot of what happens in society and in government today is certainly in America, in the court system, we treat people as though they do have free will, right? And so we judge criminals based on this kind of assumption that people have free will. And so we could use that as the example for this. We're putting people in jail. People get out of jail and they end up right back in jail. Just putting people in jail as a punishment for their crime isn't really solving the problem. And to me, it seems like education and true reform is really the solution to slow down and to mitigate criminal behavior. You're never going to stop criminal behavior because of a number of factors. But
corporal punishment would be an alternative to incarceration.
But I don't know if just beating people, whipping them, or whatever is necessarily going to be effective either. Now, I will say, and this is probably going to get me.
What's wrong with her? Has she read a single psychology book? Holy shit!
Oh, she's read the Quran. That's better than a psychology book.
Oh, naturally. Once you read any of the holy books, you're now officially
This one's even
knowledgeable
worse.
of all things.
This one's even worse, I think. It's worse. Yeah.
I have a very emotional, probably overly emotional reaction to women and children being hurt and harmed. It really, really pisses me off. And so if it were up to me, anybody who was caught doing bad things to children, especially in regards to a sexual nature, man, I probably shouldn't say this. Chopping off some body parts would probably deter that quite a bit. I will admit. Now, do I think we should do that? No, because it's inhumane, right? There's a better system. But I just really do not like it when people hurt children. So whipping them would probably be better than cutting off some body parts, I guess. But I still don't know if whipping people is necessarily an effective deterrent. I think that educating people is ultimately the best deterrent.
But look at the education system. I mean,
people will do anything but give comprehensive sex education. They will jump through all sorts of insane hoops just to not teach their kids about safe sex and body parts. It's wild to me.
Yeah, I know he's talking about what we got going on, but I don't even want to talk about that subject on here. But I agree with OE on on some of this, but Of course, I don't believe in free will either, so I'm a determinist.
I don't grant a free will giver, so I don't either.
Yeah.
But we've talked about this.
It's out there, yes, it is. But you're going to get to hear some of it, and like I said, Brian, there's going to be skeptic philosophy. I'm going to put his stream in there later on in the description. He's doing a stream on the 21st, and he's having her back on. Hopefully, if she don't like change her mind.
I suppose I'm saying that, education is basically telling people what the law is and what,
No, that's not what that is.
Of course, that's after we agree on what the law is, and that's another mountain. But anyway, even now we sort of know, what's legal and what's illegal, even as we all claim that the law is an ass and the justice system is corrupt and not producing any justice at all. But but the mechanism is still there. That laws are enforced. There are law enforcement officers. There are jails and courts and that sort of thing.
Well, I do agree with. In fact, that's one of the things that we do have similar on here as well. Is I actually have a justice system, and which to me means creating the laws, codifying the laws, so that everybody knows exactly what is expected and what the consequences will be, and having a court system. And in the Noahide laws, there's established courts and laws, so that one crosses over almost identically there. But when it comes to, and I don't want to just, I hate to use the word beat a dead horse as a pun here, but I don't want to just keep going over the same thing over and over. But I don't think. To me, it seems like psychology has shown us that using physical violence or physical punishment, if you don't want to think of it as violence or whatever, but using physical force on our children, for example, doesn't seem to be the best way to raise our children. And I think the same thing has been discovered when it comes to criminals. I mean, now we have to use a certain amount of physical force to apprehend and detain a criminal and to force them into a jail cell or whatever, especially if they resist arrest. But that's a big difference from that than from whipping people or things of that nature. I just don't think. I think that violence breeds more violence, and is my feeling. And I think this has been borne out in psychology. And when I'm talking about educating people, I agree with you 100%, sister. I think the education system, certainly in America, is really bad. The public school system is so broken. But if we assume that we can fix the education system for the sake of argument, right? I think education is the way to deter crime. But when I'm talking about education when it comes to criminals is through rehabilitation, through counseling, through figuring out what is the mental disconnect that they're having that causes them to think that the crime they committed was the solution to their problems, because
they thought they'd get away with it. I mean, that's why any criminal commits a crime. They don't think they're going to be punished. They think they'll get away with it.
Yeah, but there's
and even if they don't
she
get away
totally
with it,
missed it.
Yeah, she totally
missed that. Wow.
And thank you, Jamie. I don't know if you've been here very long, but we're watching this woman explain secular Quranism to us. I'm pretty sure you will be as fond of it as we are.
Finally, something we can agree on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not scary enough to stop them.
Well, there is some truth to that. But I think that there's actually a lot, it goes a lot deeper than that. I think that people, for example, people steal most often because they lack resources to attain the things that they want.
Some middle class people do it for the thrill of it.
That's true. And that also comes from
some people.
That's a mental illness.
Some people steal for their own gratification, and therefore that's what we should focus on as far as theft is concerned.
Right. Yeah. The lack of giving a damn whether it hurts somebody, like the immorality part of it is the part that needs the jail cell. The ones that are, kleptomaniacs that have a mental illness, and the ones that are stealing because they're poor are poor. And so
I don't know if I could say kleptomania, whatever it is.
Kleptomania, yeah.
Is a mental illness, but it is a more of a it's not really an illness.
It's a mental illness. It's a form of OCD.
That's I don't know if there's. I mean, it is something
it's
like
in the DSM.
It is? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I just know that it's a function that is sort of, but I didn't know if they considered that an illness because.
Yeah, there's a compulsive kind.
I know. I know.
Yeah.
I know it's something to do with there's something that, but I just didn't know if it was considered an illness or not.
Yeah. It's something that's fundamentally broken. Either there's a there's a compulsion to it. Some people get almost like a sexual gratification out of it, which is still all mental illness.
I was going to like go as a disorder, like a disorder, but it may be in the DSM though. They may not differentiate. Hi, Stephanie.
Broken mental condition, in my opinion. What is going to help a person lead a good life? See, this is something I talk about in my idea for objective morality. Is I believe that every human being wants to live a good life. Ultimately, the problem is that people don't understand what it takes to live this good life. So they chase things like drugs and alcohol, or the adrenaline rush of stealing something for fun. Fame, fortune, sex, whatever it might be.
Drugs and alcohol is again
money is a big one.
Part of
to live this good life, but
drugs and alcohol is another thing. It's not just hedonism. It's some of it is most of it actually is self-medication.
Yeah.
To cover for other issues, And
you usually have a proclivity to become addicted to it.
Right.
Yeah.
All of those, none of those things are going to help a person actually attain self-respect. And self-respect is one of the key things that we must have in order to live a good life. If we don't have self-respect, we're lacking something we truly need. And so if we could show people what it takes to have self-respect and educate people in this way, I think that would solve a lot of the problems.
I'm going to go grab a beer. Actually.
Go ahead, Phantom.
Crime, they call it steals for thrills and type of a thing, right? So these crimes that people commit for the adrenaline rush, because there are other ways to get an adrenaline rush than stealing. Plenty of legal ways that you could get on a freaking roller coaster or something like that, whatever it might be. But there's very few people that are stealing.
Hold on a minute.
Most people who steal.
Stop a minute. All right, SP, I'm going to link your stream in the description of this video so that everybody can be over there to watch her on the 21st at your channel. And hello, Claude. Okay, go ahead.
Are stealing because they're poor. The significant majority of thieves, or because they have a drug habit they're trying to support, which again comes down to poverty. So if we could educate people, do a better job of showing them what it takes to live this good life and to attain true happiness by having self-respect, and you can't have self-respect if you're not respecting other people. So for me, that seems like the simplest solution.
But why don't they? Why don't they do the things that you'd be proposing?
Well, because the world is so broken, and we're putting on. You go onto YouTube, for example, and I'm trying to talk about respect and things like this, right? And there's other people who are trying to talk about more positive, ethical things to do with your time. Fitness. We've got a fitness brother who's in the chat right here talking about trying to bench 600 pounds. That's a great way to spend your time, is to exercise your body. But if you go onto YouTube, the channels that are getting the attention that channels like that are getting, where you're talking about philosophy or ethics and stuff, they're not really getting much attention. You go onto YouTube, what you're getting girls twerking, dudes pranking other people, kids acting stupid, whatever kind of nonsense the media is pumping out there, and people are just gobbling it up. They're so broken mentally that they'd rather watch some girl twerking, which I don't even know. I just don't understand people. I don't understand society. But this is the kind of stuff that gets views, that gets clicks by the millions. Whereas somebody who's actually trying to edify the world is struggling to get any attention in the quote unquote algorithm. So there's a broken system that we're all under.
Yeah, I'm glad that we're, trying to work out the problems, even though we don't, particularly agree. But, it's all about knowing, what the rules are, and if it's different to what they should be, a way of resolving these areas of disagreement. And I'm saying that there is actually a very simple way of doing it. I mean, you may not agree, you may think it's too simplistic, but I think the problem is, I think everybody thinks that they know the solution to everything, and I try to say, well, God, if he exists, agrees with me because of the Quran, and then the Muslims.
That's a bold claim.
What did she say?
She said, God, if he exists, agrees with me because of the Quran.
Okay.
So,
like it's not possible. What you think? Like she mentioned the 5 big religions, first of all. So just take the Abrahamic religions out of it and go with the Hindu and the Buddhist. And does she think that Hindus and Buddhists read the Quran? No. Like, I mean, like most of us, hold on a minute. Most of us do recognize. I got somebody come in. Go ahead, Phantom, and I got mute.
They can't their own holy book, can they? And that's why I stick to the Quran and I don't say, oh, these are just these rules that I cooked up. And actually, a lot of Islamophobes have said to me, your laws sound actually okay, but why did you have to call it Quranism? Because you're kind of spoiling your own market by saying it's from the Quran, because most people are incorrigible Islamophobes, and they're just going to hate you and hate it if you mention the Quran. But one of the things is, well, if I say, oh, these are my rules, I cooked them up yesterday, but they're just going to say, well, you're stupid and you're just a crazy lady, and we're not listening to you.
No, that's fair. I agree that like when I talk about the 7 pillars of ethics, nobody's going to give two flying whatever. Nobody cares what I have to say about ethics and morality, and for good reason, because who am I, right? But religion, when you have the threat of eternal punishment or the reward of an eternal paradise or whatever, allegedly behind your laws and your edicts and stuff like that, certainly it's going to carry a lot more influence and stuff like that. However, I would push back, having studied world religions. There's nothing. I will admit I have not read the Quran. I've read some excerpts from passages in this. I'm familiar with certain stories, but I've not read the Quran like I have the Bible. I know the Bible inside and out, and so there's, from what I understand, there's nothing unique in the Quran, the New Testament, or the Old Testament when it comes to morality or laws. This stuff goes back way into history, including the gods and all this stuff. I mean, it can all be traced much further back than what we find in the Abrahamic faith. The Abrahamic faith are claiming to have, this unique revelation, but there's nothing unique in there. These do not murder, do not steal, reciprocity. All of this stuff can be uncovered in Ugaritic texts, in cuneiform writing, when the first writing systems we have all the way back in Sumer. So we can look at Eastern religions for some of these ideas that predate a lot of the stuff you find when it comes to the peacefulness and the you can look at philosophy when it comes to certain ideas, when it comes to oneness, monism, if you want. So there's, like I said, I don't know why we would necessarily stop at the Quran. Let's just go back to the more original source, other than the fact that the Abrahamic faiths have had such a massive impact on the world that nobody would know what I'm talking about when I talk about Ugaritic texts. People are like, what the hell does that even mean? You know what I mean? So I guess I could see that.
Isn't everyone's obsessed by Jews? And it's like, well, we'll just go with it because.
What?
What she say everybody was obsessed by?
Jews.
Oh, God. Anti-Semitism. Here we go.
I mean, I get what she's saying. I mean, I do spend about 6 hours a day thinking about Jews. But is that really obsessed?
Phantom is very sarcastic, by the way, in case you don't know it.
Me? Oh, yeah. Goodness. Yeah.
I was talking to everybody else.
Oh.
I've been around him enough to know.
Gotcha.
Like, sometimes he just catches me off guard, though, because I'm like, I don't expect it sometimes out of him.
They basically, Judaism is a foundation of Christianity and Islam. And that's probably why everybody's obsessed by Jews. Because they think they have so much power. But if they think
Hold
about
on a minute, Phantom. Stephanie, who are you talking about? Are you talking about objective ethics? We're talking, the woman is the, Ben Shapiro. Oh, okay. No, it's not Ben Shapiro. This is objective ethics. He has a channel on YouTube. He's a friend of mine. And he's talking to this woman who has this, this idea of secular Quranism to implement in society, to where, like, if you have a baby out of wedlock, you would get lashes. You would actually get beat for having a. And I guess the men, that goes for the men too. I don't know. She never did say whether only the women got beat or if the men got beat too. I don't know.
She said anyone who has a child out of wedlock would have 100 lashes, but like you can't have a child without a guy.
Right.
But you can.
Guy parts, I guess.
Yeah.
It's artificial insemination.
Right.
You still have to have. It still comes from a guy. It's not grown in a laboratory
Yet.
Yeah. Yeah. We haven't figured out a way to get y'all out completely gone yet.
That Jews on their own can't do any of the things that they're doing now if it were not for the support of the American Empire.
Right.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
And I'm just saying, and there's this, American.
Wait a minute. Okay, so her selling point is that the Quran will help us create an empire. But she just now said that we have an empire. So why would we need to, if we've already got what she's selling, why are we going to buy it?
That's what I mean. This is bad marketing. It's really bad marketing.
Bad marketing.
Americans would say, oh, the Jews control us, and the Jews say, oh, the Americans control us, and there's this sort of butt passing of guilt and bad behavior, and it's never resolved, you see, because people are actually quite happy to keep passing the buck of blame. The Jews to the Gentile, and the Gentile to the Jews, and this has been, how it's been for a long time. We're both, actually suffering quite a lot, but apparently without even noticing,
Yeah, no, I do agree with a lot of that. Another YouTube channel, by the way, I usually try to type in hellos in there. It's so nice to see everybody, but I'm trying to focus more on my guest out of respect because I do have a difficult time splitting my attention. But Ducks, another YouTube channel, Skeptic Philosophy. There's other people who've joined and I haven't said hello. It's always great to see everyone who joins the show. And just to let everybody know, as always, I do open up the panel for everybody to join the conversation at some point. But I want to give Claire a chance to have the floor and have my undivided attention, like I do with my featured guest at first. But we will be opening up the panel at some point if you guys have your own questions. One comment that was made by another YouTube channel, which I think I want to address really quickly, he says that negative consequences in relation to justice could maybe be necessary. The problem is, if justice is giving people what they deserve in a negative sense, is that not potentially the same as vengeance? And so it is that would be a type of vengeance. So in my 7 pillars of ethics, the bottom one I have down here is virtue. And I get that from Aristotle and the golden mean of how we attain the virtues and how we even understand what the virtues are. So people ask me, well, if you're not a religious person, how do you know what's right and wrong? And I use this virtue concept. And Aristotle talked about the golden mean, which is the perfect place between having too much or too little, excess or deprivation, right? And so justice is that perfect medium between vengeance and unwarranted mercy. And you can find any virtue out just by figuring out what would the extreme on either end be, right? So courage is that perfect medium in between recklessness and fear, for example, right? So you can look at every situation in life and you can always figure out the virtue fairly easily in your own head just by figuring out, okay, if I went too much in one direction or too much in the other direction from the point that I'm at right now, where would that lead me? And we also have to remember that wisdom is considered the fundamental virtue. So without wisdom, you'll never really be able to understand any of the virtues. So I hope that addressed that question. So let me move to the next point on this. We talked about no immoral sexual acts. Having children out of wedlock being an immoral sexual actor, that is an interesting. That's to me that's taking it a bit too far personally. But I do see the problem with having children out of wedlock. But again, I'm not willing to promote any type of, I don't know what else I'll call it, type of slavery. Basically, telling people what they have to do with their bodies. I don't know, slavery might be too harsh of a term. But people have the right to their own autonomy. Maybe a woman wants to have a baby and doesn't want to have a husband, or maybe I don't know. So that should be her right to do that. If she's a responsible person, we shouldn't have any issues with that. I don't think.
Hold on, hold on,
fan. Living animal. So I have
we're playing it. Yeah, we're playing it on 1.5 speed. Okay, you saw it.
Environmental harmony, which to me means taking care of animals as well as the planet. That's one of the biggest issues I see on this Noahide list is there's not a single mention of the environment or the planet. Now, granted, this is very old, so this is probably way before they were ever thinking about things like pollution and whatever else, obviously. Yeah. But you would think that they would still have a basic understanding, of needing to restore their crops and restore the soil so that they could, revitalize the soil to continue to grow healthy crops. They need to rotate crops. How the weather plays a factor in their harvests and things of this nature. So I'm surprised there isn't any kind of mention about the planet. So are we concerned at all about the planet and the environment? Do we take personal responsibility according to secular Quranism for the actual environment?
Well, the banning of usury would actually help address the problem of waste, because waste is harmful to the environment. I mean, fashion is very wasteful. People, make a lot of clothes. They don't. They just want, a new set of clothes because they just want it, not because.
Okay. What my understanding of what usury is excessive interest. Is that what usury is?
Yeah, my excessive closet full of clothes.
No, interest. Excessive interest, like on a loan.
Oh, I don't know. I'm not a banker, but
let's see what usury. Let me just look it up.
Yeah.
Yes, usury is the illegal or unethical act of lending money at unreasonably high or extortionate interest rates. Okay, so yeah, my understanding of usury is the normative definition of usury. How would banning usury get rid of waste? Like, do you guys have any idea where she's getting that?
Well, she said that if you she's not. I don't even think she's using the word usury in that way. She's talking about too many clothes. She said fashion created a lot of waste. Yeah, and I would agree. I would agree that the carbon footprint for manufactured clothing and purses and shoes and stuff is probably pretty high. But I don't think that is what is I think
but that's not usury. You don't get rid of that stuff with getting rid of usury. That's
what she's counting as usury. No, she's not using this. Remember, she's redefined terms here.
Okay, maybe so. Maybe so. Usury is just using stuff.
And as Stephanie says, just stop buying new shit. Go to thrift stores. And Brian said, I think she means consumerism. Yes.
Maybe so.
Like, I think that consumerism does add to the waste on the planet. I'm pretty sure that most of the carbon that is in the atmosphere is not necessarily from consumerism.
I would agree with that. But I'll just have to remember to whenever she says usury, just think consumerism because that's what she really means. Because I'm sitting here just trying to figure out what she's talking about. I'm like, I don't see the connection. I don't know what she's where she's getting this.
Well, she said too many people had too many clothes.
No, I know. I know what she said. I'm just saying, like she said, get banning usury. It'll get people to not have clothes. I'm like, no, it won't. It's not related.
Their old clothes are worn down and they can't wear them anymore. It's like, oh, it's a spring season. That's a new look and I've got to have it. So actually, fashion and consumerism is enormously wasteful. And it's all geared to, frivolity and buying things you don't need with money you don't have and getting into debt and not really, thinking about it carefully. And yeah.
How would that, just hold on a minute.
Well, that's not.
And let me just say that this is totally anti-capitalism. Like, okay, because like I've always said that the 10th commandment is actually violates the ideals of capitalism. Like when you don't covet your neighbor's stuff, you don't want to go buy it. And so like coveting your neighbor's stuff is a foundational principle of capitalism. And I'm not sure that she understands that capitalism is what makes the United States go round.
Not in the no-hide laws, but it's in the Quran about banning usury, because usury obviously, creates an atmosphere, an environment of irresponsible borrowing and lending that eventually ends in slavery.
Okay, so she is using usury in its normative sense. She just thinks it's related. If we don't have usury, people won't buy wasteful stuff.
Well, most credit cards, especially, like do have high interest rates, I guess.
Sure.
I mean, but not illegal.
I just have the feeling here that you get rid of usury and people are still going to be buying stuff because that's not why they don't buy stuff because they can get high interest rate loans.
Yeah.
If it goes too far.
Yeah, and I just want to make sure for the audience and make sure we're on the same page. I think we are, but for the audience who may not be familiar with the term usury, my understanding is that this is essentially the idea of charging elevated interest rates against debt. Is that ultimately what you're talking about when you say usury?
Yes, compound interest.
Right. Okay. Yep. Yeah, I agree that the economic system and usury, I think that has been problematic. The problem is that we find in every financial system that we've seen throughout history is that it grows to a breaking point. This is why economies always end up collapsing, because they can only the value. The way that things are set up, the value is inflated artificially for everything, and that artificial inflation can only go so long before there's nothing backing the value of
the bubble bursts.
Exactly right, and it just repeats. It rinses and repeats, rinses and repeats. We see this with the housing crash. We see this with the stock market crash. There's got to be a better system. I don't know what it is. What's that?
I mean, people kill themselves. I mean, there were all those cartoons of the Wall Street crash. All those stockbrokers jumping from tall buildings because they couldn't bear being poor. Lives are ruined, businesses are destroyed, and people have to go through the Great Depression and queue up in soup kitchens and all that. But I mean, it doesn't. I think it's basically addictive behavior, in a way, because usually it's the ability to create money out of nothing,
right?
And we always want stuff. So shaking the money tree for money now and pay later is irresistible to ordinary people and to governments with imperial wars to finance. And I'm afraid America is the biggest empire in the world, and maybe the reason why it's been so aggressive now is that it's trying to get, because it can't make the things anymore, so it has to go and get other people's oil. I mean, it could buy the oil, but it chooses not to. But there are certain dangers in invading other countries, because every war is a gamble, and you might lose more than the war or the particular battle. So I mean, what happened to the British Empire? When they picked a fight with Germany, because Germany was, rising up and becoming increasingly powerful, and Britain in the First World War thought, no, we can't have that. We have to, beat up Germany so they won't, try to, muscle in on our empire. I know it was all dressed up,
She is not saying what I think. Holy shit.
Well, she's talking about the World War One.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
right. But
that isn't like that's a very simplified version of why.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think it had anything to do with the German Empire becoming more powerful and the British Empire saying we can't have that.
Right.
Well,
yeah.
I think
there was a lot of stuff that there was a lot. They were trying to like take over other countries that were.
Well, it happened because of a whole bunch of interconnected treaties.
Right.
And
World War One was a clusterfuck. It was just it was a series of bad deals that like brought everybody into it. But I thought she was talking about the interwar war period when.
No, she's talking about World War One.
It seems like that she would have.
I'm talking about after World War One in the interwar period before World War Two.
Yeah. We were punishing them. Yeah.
Yeah.
It sounds to me like though she definitely would have been on the side of the Germans.
Right. That's what I was. That was my face. I was like, because they needed to be punished because they did a big bad. I mean, like they.
Yeah, both
through a bajillion freaking Russians. Like
both the British Empire and the Germans were imperialists. Like expansionists. So yeah, they were pretty much same sort of.
Yep. Yikes! Big yikes! This woman is one big yikes.
Just were defending Belgian neutrality and all that. That was a phone call.
I'm so sorry. I usually have my phone muted. Since I took this promotion,
Somebody still use that ringtone? Holy shit!
That scared the crap out of me.
He's old like me.
God, that ringtone is ancient. Holy shit! I haven't heard that in a minute.
Because it does deal with political economy. So banning usury would have the effect of lowering property prices. It would make them go down dramatically. What else? It would regulate gender relations. It would regulate consumer relations, and most importantly, international relations.
It sounds like usury is just the secret sauce. We should just get rid of it, and everything's better.
Yes,
right.
It solves all the world's problems. We just get rid of usury.
Stop buying new clothes.
Right.
Principles of warfare and. How to behave as a country.
It even solves the principles of warfare. That's amazing.
Yes.
I didn't know usury was so interconnected with everything.
I thought it was interesting how she brought up that we're always having to go and steal other people's oil. Like,
yeah, actually bring about.
Take that, sorry.
So that's why I like it. I know probably Americans have other ideas, but maybe the tide of war too. I get the impression that MAGA was about Americans saying, well, no more neocon wars, and then they vote for a president who's sort of rolling on with World War III. So I think he must be very dismayed and disappointed with how things are turning out.
I can't get a read on Trump, to be honest with you. He seems like some of the stuff he says is just insane. I mean, there's just no way around it. Absolutely insane, completely detached from reality. But there's other things that he talks about that at face value seem fairly reasonable.
I supported him.
But yeah, he's I don't know. The guy is just. I'm not sure if he's bipolar.
I'm sure he's bipolar. Yes, tripolar. I would say he has 3 poles.
3 poles. That's not how poles work.
All are small.
It could actually, I don't even know if the president is in charge in this country, to be honest with you. I mean, we saw it with Biden. It seemed pretty clear that he was not calling the shots. I mean, he didn't even know where he was half the time. It was clear he had this look, this lost look in his eyes. Like, I felt so bad for the poor guy.
Oh, Lord.
He was not with it mentally.
Fuck off.
So he fell downstairs. How do you fall down going upstairs? I've never downstairs. I get you got gravity working against you, but he falls down going upstairs. This is just so.
I've fallen upstairs a ton. Have you never walked in heels? What the fuck?
I mean, yeah, I've fallen.
I've fallen upstairs all the time.
I've fallen upstairs too.
Yeah, that's not hard.
Yeah, like being like after this there's been a stream since then that we sat down with objective ethics. Objective ethics actually is not a political person, um, and so like I think he gets some of his information from various different sites, and I think that he mingles it in with a lot of right wing kind of bull
It
crap.
seems to be.
But he has definitely got his he definitely has his morality is aligned in the right direction. Let's put it that way.
That's important.
Yeah. Hello, Scott. Good to see you.
He's falling down somewhere, and I thought, God, this is horrible. No wonder Putin is like, decided to attack Ukraine. I mean, we Biden in charge. But at any rate, when it comes to Trump, yeah, as an independent centrist, I'm not really well informed with what happens in politics. I will admit, I'm very ignorant about a lot of issues because whenever I turn on the news, whether it's left wing or right wing media, I end up getting pissed off. I think they're both crazy. To me, it seems like in this country, it's TDS, which stands for Trump Derangement Syndrome, versus MAGA, Make America Great Again. They're just on two opposite sides of the aisle. Neither side is really connected to reality, in my opinion, for one reason or the other. And they want to make no compromises. And I don't have a lot of conversations with people where they seem like they're even willing to consider some kind of compromise, some kind of middle ground. Everybody's got such
what compromise? They're talking about fascism,
and it's very frightening to me because this is why we have so much anarchy going on in this country. Every time you turn on the news, there's these riots,
anarchy,
and people are committing all these crimes all over the place and fighting on social media about Trump derangement syndrome versus MAGA and all this other stuff. I can barely even tolerate it. And I've been talking to so many people internationally over the last few months, as I mentioned earlier, and it really was very surreal to me after about a month or so of talking to so many people from Europe and Asia and Africa, and they're all asking me about like the ICE situation and Renee Good and Donald Trump. And I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, the whole world is watching us right now. The whole world is watching America. We are literally center stage. And
people always watch.
It's very frightening because I don't think we're putting our best foot forward, and everybody's watching. They're paying attention to what's America doing.
And why are you doing it? I mean, that's one of the things that people are asking. And I listen to these political commentators and they're saying, we don't even know. I don't have a degree in psychology. I can't work out why the president is doing what he's doing. But well, historically, all presidents campaign in peace and say they're going to end this and that war. And when they're in the White House, it's like war, carry on. And so there must be some kind of presidential.
Oh, that's just Republicans
in the White House that gets hold.
Well, I mean, no, there's Democrats, but like, hold on, fan.
That he said about
like past has been both parties. I mean, like, what is going to keep the military, system going if we don't have wars? That's and war tends to actually be a plus for our economy in the short term.
Well, yeah, because we've got all the best defense contractors, but that's just a bunch of billionaires sitting together, getting more rich. Like, I don't feel sorry for them if we're not having a war.
No, me neither. And look, Scott said that Trump is a Christian and the chosen savior. Yes, and Scott's being sarcastic too.
Yes, I assumed, and I liked what Nathan said. It's actually Trump denial syndrome. I've been calling it Trump tongue fucking Donald sphincter. I've been making up fun redoing the letters a little bit.
Who was it? Here, let's see who said that. No, we don't believe that Trump is either, actually.
Yeah, right. He was just being silly because he's not a Christian at all. The man has literally broken every one of the 10 commandments, like the bare minimum. Like but he's never he used to go to church with his this old guy that was real influential back then, but he went because he liked the way he spoke. He was watching and learning how to be a public speaker. He had no interest in the theology. It was more of how he was learning how to convince people of bullshit. Watching this guy, that's what he got out of church. It had nothing to do with theology.
Like Scott said, he's broken all 613. Yes. Plus some.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Pam.
No more war.
Right. Right.
Well, I mean, that seems to, there's a definite pattern of behavior there.
Bionic Latino. He's such a nice gentleman. I've spoke with him a few times. And his name's Chris. Also, I got a couple of Chris's that follow the channel, and he's graciously offered. He says, "OE, we're going to have to get you up to speed with what you're detaching yourself from." maybe I do need to do a show on politics. But if I did a show on politics, what I would prefer to do is do a panel where I had 2 or 3 people from each side, and try to, instead of having just one side come and then the other
get me
side
and
come,
Robin
because
on that
I like to
panel.
get everybody in the room together to sort some of this out, because I do not think that one side has it figured out. I think they both seem like they're batshit crazy to me,
Nope.
as far as Democrats and Republicans around here.
That would be a great idea. I mean, I hope you do that, because there's just so many words that everybody thinks, oh, I know what that means, and all the time they're talking,
Oh,
across
honey,
campuses with,
pot calling the
another
kettle
person
black
thinking
much?
the same word means the same thing to the other person.
Yeah, it would be very educational for me as well, because like I openly admit, I do tend to detach myself because I can only take so much of it. The last time I actually voted, I voted for Obama, and I will totally admit that I did it as a type of virtue signaling, I guess. I was so proud of the fact that we were going to have potentially our first Black president, and I really wanted to be a part of that. And Obama turned out to be such a disaster in so many ways. I was so
Not a
disappointed in the way
disaster.
that
What the?
turned out.
He
Oh,
was a great actor, he
Oh
was
my God!
crying. I mean,
So
I
said,
supported him.
I said, if
But
we
John
get
McCain was just so awful. It was almost deliberate.
well,
Why
that's
do
the
you
other issue that
think
it
he
comes
was
to
so awful
politics.
that Obama had to win?
No, well, that's the problem, and that's the problem I have with Trump's situation, is that as much as I really have a hard time, and I try to be positive. I know I'm bashing Biden, I'm bashing Obama. I actually do try to be positive about people, the president, and try to be somewhat loyal to my country and stuff like that. But if you take Trump aside, set Trump aside, the alternative would have been Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. There's nobody in this universe that can convince me that would have been a good thing for America either. There's nobody in this universe that can convince me
why?
that would have been good for America, and that's the problem we have. We don't have a good independent third option. We've got 2
If
idiots fighting
if
each other
that's the ethics,
the
if
title.
his little listy list over there is the ethics that he wants to is that he thinks is going to be best for the world, what candidate does he think can abide by any of that stuff on the right?
I told
I'd
you
love to know that answer.
he watches stuff like he doesn't. I doubt he knows much about Kamala.
Yeah, you and me need to get on that panel. That'd be fun. That would be so much fun.
I've talked to objective ethics since this stream actually about some and so me and him have to talk some politics, but
I have to go to bed. Is there someone? Could one of you guys pull this up? We're at 1 hour and 32 seconds.
Oh God, do we have to? How much more of this is there?
We're just under halfway through.
we ain't got to watch all of it. We'll leave some for SP's stream, so people will be wondering what.
Well, I assume he's probably going to open it up to the panel for an open panel here shortly. Because
it might get to the juicy part, to be honest.
I don't know. Can you put it? Let's see.
I can pull it up. What's the video called?
Here, I'll post the link in the chat. In the private chat.
That works. Oh, actually, can you send it to me on Discord?
Yeah,
it's in the private chat over there.
Because I'm streaming through my camera on my phone, but I've got my laptop here in the background. I couldn't get the lighting to work right, so I was like, screw it, I'm just going to use the better camera. I literally got ready in 5 minutes and then spent the rest of the time trying to figure out my damn technical situation, because it's always a...
I can't share it with you on Discord.
You can't?
Nope. It says
I can do it.
You're not accepting direct messages from not friends.
I didn't know we weren't friends.
I didn't either.
I didn't do that. But I guess we've always talked through Mod's channel and not. I don't think we have any DMs. So just friend me.
I've got some DMs with you. I guess that must have been when we were on the same server. Let me see if I can.
Yeah, just friend me and
I'm doing it. I'm
easy. Well, that needed to happen anyway. But yeah.
Okay, I've got it. Let's see. Let me share it here. Okay, you take it down first there. Let's see. Share screen. I think it'll start right back at the same spot. Will it?
Well, you'll need to go. You'll need to fast go.
Where are you
Drag it
at?
over to 1 hour and 32 seconds. What? You're too far. Too far. 1 hour and 32 seconds.
32 seconds.
10032.
Oh, 32 seconds. Oh. Let's put it right there. That'll be good enough.
Just our cake. So I haven't got very far. But I hope if you do start a political,
All right, I'm going to head out. Thanks,
screen,
guys.
Bye, fam.
maybe.
Bye, fam. Thank you.
Phantom, have a good one.
And as you can see, I'm in chat over here going, wow.
We can, together read it.
I appreciate the suggestion. You'd definitely be invited, and in fact, it's an open invitation to anybody. If people want to do that, I would be willing to host a conversation about politics. I have no problem doing that. And so, yeah, maybe I'll reach out to the community here, and maybe I'll even post some things on my other social media accounts and see if I can get. The thing is, if I do it, I really do want to have 2, maybe 3 people from each side of the aisle together, because I don't want to just get a one-sided deal. Because I have so many friends from both sides of the aisle, I could get
Bye, Stephanie. Thank you.
a bunch of conservatives up here. I could get a bunch of liberals up here, and I don't want to do that. I want to have a fairly balanced situation so that people could push back on each other's ideas, and try to maintain some kind of civility to it. But if I've been able to do it talking about religion, which I have thus far, and the few political conversations I've had here, I think it can be done. It's on the onus of each individual to remember what I always talk about is that we're all equals. We're all human beings at the end of the day. But that's for another time, I guess. So I apologize. I kind of derailed us here for a little bit. We're almost to the end of this list. And then I have people who are asking to join the panel. So we'll try to get to that as well. But so we have the 2 that I have the biggest issue with on these Noahide laws, because I think in so many ways, actually, I don't want to skip past this part here. This do not eat a living animal. So when I have environmental harmony, I believe that we should be kind to animals. I know I talked about the environment a little bit, but I think that animal cruelty is something that's absolutely horrific. Some of the things I see, and I see this a lot in other cultures. I used to live down in San Diego, California, and I partied in Mexico all the time, especially at Tijuana, for those who probably don't know TJ. But so I've seen a lot of interesting stuff down there. Cockfights, dog fights, all kinds of just horrific things, that I just can't imagine human beings would want to be a part of or find entertaining. And, it happens in America too. It's illegal as hell, but there are underground. In fact, there was that famous football player, Michael Vick, I believe it was, if I'm remembering correctly, who got.
I'm trying to figure out, how do I speed this up, Earl?
Oh, let's see. If you go down to the little, yeah,
Settings.
yes, in the settings, and then it'll say playback speed. Yep, right below. Yep, right there, and then 1.5.
Okay.
Yeah, because good grief, this woman, like,
convicted of
she
something with
sounds
1.5.
normal
I'm not
on
trying to slander
1.5 speed.
That's the wrong name. I could be completely wrong. For some reason, I feel like there was something involving a famous athlete, football player with dogfighting, but I might be mistaken about that. So I apologize to Michael Vick if I got that wrong. But at any rate, so protecting animals, prohibiting animal cruelty, I'm absolutely in support of that. The next one, we have to establish the courts. We both talked about that. I said the justice system. So we're down to the last 2, and these are the 2 that I have the biggest issue with, because you've got, they seem really to be one and the same. Do not curse God and no false idols. I do not see how we can actually justify making laws around this. And there have been in the past, and there are even today, theocracies. Most of them are Muslim, actually, with Islam. But there is one Catholic theocracy left in the world. I believe Vatican City is still Catholic, and it's still run on a theocracy. But every other theocracy that I'm aware of is Muslim. So they may have laws in place about false idols and things of that nature. I'm sure that's a prohibition within the Quran, isn't it?
Actually, blasphemy isn't mentioned at all in the Quran.
Oh.
And I mean, the most it's the closest it gets to blasphemy is advising Muslims not to be rude about the idols of the idolaters, in case the idolaters curse Allah and upset these Muslims who are trying to, invite these idolaters to Islam. As regards idolatry, I mean, it does say, well, you'll go to hell if you're an idolater, but you have to allow these idolaters their idolatry and give them the freedom of belief that, yeah. So actually, I'm saying chapter 2, verse 256 of the Quran, which says there is no compulsion in belief. Truth stands clear from error. I'm saying it supports the First Amendment. I mean, not that you would know this, judging by how these Islamic scholars and Muslim countries behave, but this is a verse they cannot deny. And I'm sure that Thomas Jefferson, when he ordered the Quran, when he was still a law student, did read this verse and took it on board.
Okay.
Mhm.
Thomas Jefferson did not use the Quran to write anything. Like the Declaration of Independence was not influenced by the Quran. I just want to say that that's just absolute horse shit right there.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure that there was John Locke, Montesquieu, even maybe Voltaire a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Some of those
Enlightenment thinkers. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. Nobody from the Quran, like Muhammad, did not influence the Declaration of Independence, and Thomas Jefferson actually didn't write the Constitution. So,
Right.
I guess that's not what she said, though. But he did write the Declaration of Independence. Yes.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's
I
why
agree.
we have the First Amendment.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the First Amendment is extremely important. I was absolutely blown away when I heard Nathaniel. Give me 1 second. The coffee went down the wrong pipe. I'm trying not to cough, but oh my goodness, I can barely breathe. Nathaniel, and I'm not trying to throw shade on the brother, especially when he's not here to defend himself, but he speaks openly about it. He's posted videos on his YouTube channel, so I guess it comes with the territory of doing that. But he has spoken out against the First Amendment as one of the things he talks about, and I can't believe anybody in America would be against the First Amendment. I mean, that gives him.
I told him it's sedition.
That's insane. Yeah, it gives him it protects his own freedom for his own religious belief. He's a Catholic. You would think that would be important to him, but there's a lot. The First Amendment covers actually quite a bit. A lot of people don't realize when they start looking at this stuff, but there's the right to petition the government, I believe, is part of the First Amendment. I'm not wording it exact word for word, but there's something about petitioning the government's in there, freedom of speech, freedom of religion, all that's in there. So it covers a lot. Maybe he might just have certain specific issues, but I do believe in free speech. I think it's extremely important, and I agree with what you said about allowing quote unquote idolaters to be idolaters or whatever. Because I don't think we should be restricting people from their beliefs, so to speak. It is, as long as they're not acting on them in a harmful way, because people need to have.
The fact that a government would see people as idolaters is the issue.
Right.
Yeah.
I'd say that all of MAGA would be disqualifying.
I mean, because, I know, but that implies that there is a correct, belief and an incorrect belief, and that anyone does. So, you're still even though if you're allowing it, you're still labeling people as doing something that is, wrong. So, but you have free will to go to hell.
That freedom. But so when I talk about bringing people together and commonality and all being equal and stuff like that, my goal is not to get everybody to agree on everything. In fact, I've tried to speak out against that so people really understand. I think diversity is extremely important, and it's also a very beautiful thing. It can be, anyway, it should be. So we want people to have different ideas. We want to encourage people to have unique cultures, different art, music, entertainment, politics, even, so we can compare one system to another system and see what is better. So I do think diversity is important. I don't want one world order. So I'm not against religious countries or people having different religions or whatever, or different views. In fact, I actually am in support of the freedom to do that. And I do agree with you about what you said at the very beginning of this conversation about the importance of communities, right? Smaller, tight-knit communities. But I don't support the idea of us versus them, per se. You can enjoy your own communities, but you have to remember that your community is ultimately made up of individuals. Individuals are people, and all people are equal. So that's my own approach. So I have virtue, as I mentioned already, down at the bottom of my list. I have no need for the no false idols or the do not curse God laws. They just don't apply in my system. I don't think any secular system needs anything like that. But it is interesting how there are quite a few similarities between these two lists. So let me give you the opportunity, Claire. So looking at my own 7 pillars of ethics, your own critique, criticisms, constructive, positive, negative. What do you think about what I've come up with?
Well, I'm so happy that, a lot of this is actually no hide and, done in a public spirited way to protect society. I would say the difference between the no hide laws and your set of your list of words is that the no hide laws are issued as commandments or prohibitions. So it's saying, do this and don't do that. And this makes it clear. Even if people are going to, argue about, murder. Isn't it murder when somebody is executed? Isn't it murder when you kill somebody in the battlefield? And and what is sexual immorality? How long is a piece of string and all that kind of thing. But at least you get the idea that you're supposed to be doing stuff and not supposed to be doing other stuff. And this kind of, makes the whole thing easier to understand. And that I think is why the no-hike laws and the commandments are framed in, as commands.
Yeah, people do need structure, which is kind of unfortunate that people don't seem to be able to. Not everybody, obviously, some people can, some people can't, but too many people cannot regulate themselves. They cannot control their own behavior. They need something above them. And I hate to say that because I think we all need our autonomy, but people are so broken. We talked about this earlier with the social media and what people seem to be attracted to and the nonsense that they waste their time and money on and the things that people strive for. I think the further we get away from philosophy, the further we get away from sanity. But I do think that secularism has been a huge boost to civility, going towards secularism and away from theocracies and theocratic systems and things of this nature. As atheism continues to grow, I don't know, skepticism, I think, is what I would like to see continue to grow, atheism and agnosticism. But people do need to have a moral system, some kind of moral system in place, some kind of legal system in place. And if we just leave it up to every single individual to figure it out for themselves, that doesn't seem like a good idea. People, by and large, make so many mistakes, financial mistakes, legal mistakes in their personal lives. We hear it oftentimes, my college phase, quote unquote, so people tend to go through these growing pains, and that's part of life, but unfortunately these things have repercussions. And so we need structure around us. I seems to be the unnecessary or the necessary evil, I guess, if you want to say something like that. That structure, we have to have some kind of structure, and for the most part. Now I have actually worked for a few summers. I volunteered at various organizations, where one of them.
Okay, I'm gonna forward this.
I was about to say, can we skip through past?
Yeah, I'm gonna skip to where they get on the panel because I don't even know how many people we got to watch. And there's SP. I'm thinking that Deconverted Man comes on too, which was maybe this might not be the right one, but let's see. I can get on there.
This I think is a very interesting problem, but I think it can be solved with, once you have a functioning moral system. And a functioning moral system is basically shared beliefs, shared values, and agreed rules. And that's why we still talk about things like the Ten Commandments, even if we're not Christian or Jewish or whatever, because we want to think that there are certain laws that we can agree are, that any honest and decent person can agree on, and that would be the 7 no-hike laws, which are framed in a way that is, meant to be uncontroversial.
And this is Skeptic Philosophy right here. This is Robert. So he's the one that's going to be streaming her on the 21st.
Gotcha.
I see Robert is here.
Yeah, that was great. Thank you so much for filling the airtime. I had to get my coffee. And it looks like we got more people joining the US. I get to let me get.
How's it going?
Okay, so yeah, go ahead and we'll go around the room, guys. I'll give each of you a chance to introduce yourselves. Robert, he was in here first. That's Skeptic Philosophy, a friend of mine. Go ahead, Robert, introduce yourself, your channel, whatever you want, and then we'll let Chris introduce himself, and then Robert, I'll let you have the first question.
Hey, I'm Robert from Skeptic Philosophy. I've actually chatted with Claire a little bit on Discord. She's reached out to me, and I believe on my YouTube channel to get an interview. I kind of pushed it off because I wanted to read a little more on her blog thing that I actually put up inside of the private chat, and I encourage you to post it in the public chat. I personally think that Claire is a wolf in sheep's clothing, and that she's completely misrepresenting her position the entire way. I just want to say that in advance. I think that her position is pro-racism, pro-sexism, pro-homophobic. I think it is for controlling. It's for pro-slavery. It's in her manifesto. I think that they want race division into 6 different divisions of race. I think she's against free speech, and she's against so many different things that if you can imagine the enemy of whatever your greatest conceivable enemy is, of white nationalism, of anything else, she is that personified by 10. And what she is doing instead of representing what she actually believes is she's giving you this cookie cutter, palatable version of what she believes. And you should read her blogspot and read her manifesto. I think that you have let a wolf come in under sheep clothing. But with that, I'll do.
All right.
Okay, so you think SP seems to be fond of her, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was spicy. That was good.
Yes. I was like, wow, that was great. And she has agreed though to come on his stream after that. So yeah. So that should be interesting.
All right, well, before we continue on, I'm definitely going to give Claire a chance to respond to that. Definitely laying all your cards out on the table. I was just looking for a quick introduction before we kind of got into it. But since you unloaded all that, you're all right, brother. Before you get to the two Chris's, and we're all welcome to speak honestly and openly here, but I want to make sure that we are very respectful. But again, everyone's welcome to be honest and direct. But just remember, I don't want any name calling, bigotry, things of this nature. And I'm not saying you're doing that, Robert. I just want to make sure that just establish for moving forward that we are going to treat each other with decency. So, Claire, did you want to address what Robert said? That's only fair.
Yeah, I mean, there's such a huge list, and I'm not sure if Robert. I thought you said you'd like to have me on your channel. So we can address that when I get onto your channel. I really don't think I'm as bad as you want to paint me. Obviously I have something to say to white nationalists, anti-Semites, and all those people, but I do uncompromisingly support the First Amendment, and I don't think how I can make that clearer.
Well, I think that's fair, and I do think some of that stuff maybe would be better addressed on Robert's channel, because none of that came up in this discussion, and I don't know Claire personally. This is the first time I've had a chance to speak with her. We've had a very pleasant conversation. We have some fundamental disagreements, and I don't know about this Blogspot or whatever it is you're talking about, Substack or whatever you mentioned there. I've not looked into it. I haven't read her book, so I have no idea. I'm not here to make any judgments either way, but maybe it would be better to get into some of that, unless you want to go item by item, because that was quite the list of I guess say accusations, but I don't know if they're what's behind it or not, because I'm ignorant of the situation.
Right, I would just like to mention secularcoronism.blogspot.com. It's not my blogspot. It is actually my streaming partner, Vincent Bruno, who is actually gaily married. So together we came up with an AI-generated document center of how secular Quranism would work in a virtual America, with sitcoms, dramas, stories, pamphlets and the like. So I hope you will read it. It's kind of short and probably more fun than my book because of all these scenarios. I mean, I had great fun with Vincent Bruno making it, and if you look on my YouTube channel, you will actually find this. You'll be able to find us actually generating the documents and talking about the stuff. So yes, please go there and also listen to us actually coming up with these documents. Thank you.
Yeah, I definitely encourage people to do their own research in every area of life. To be honest with you, taking anyone's word, including my word, for anything is not a good idea. We can have conversations and share ideas, but ultimately everyone has a responsibility to do their own due diligence. And I definitely do promote equality, as I've mentioned several times. So gay marriage, I'm in complete support of because of equality. I think if a man and a woman, consenting adults, a man and a woman are allowed to get married, there's absolutely no logical, justifiable reason, in my opinion, to prohibit any 2 or 3 or 4 for that matter, consenting adults to get into whatever kind of relationship they want to get into, including marriage. So I do support gay marriage, and we do support that on this channel, but I also open up everybody's viewpoints. People are going to be different, so we'll discuss it. If somebody has a problem with that, I'm more than happy to defend my position on gay marriage. Chris, Bionic Latino, I think you were the first Chris in the room. You want to, since I guess we're just going to go straight into your questions as well as introductions. So why don't you have the floor for a second? Introduce yourself and whatever project you're working on.
Well, first of all, some people have been complaining about my audio, so do I sound okay?
It's a little quiet.
Okay, so let me see if I could up that a little bit. Maybe I have to lean in a little bit. Yeah, I don't know what's fine. Okay, cool. So first and foremost, I'll just say, I always take the position. I joined this kind of like to see where the conversation goes, but I would just say, like, just from my default position is always to be skeptical or weary of an appeal to tradition or an appeal to a dogma or even an appeal to an ism, like as a broad stroke. So my position, a lot of my like ethical or moral, even social positions come from a place of evolution. Like where society or where the collective takes it is, I think, where it should go, right? Short of mob rule, I feel like, I believe in the truth, like when it's an actual marketplace of ideas, let the better idea amongst rational people rise to the top. So when you have something saying, well, I base my ethics on these 7 laws or these 6 rules or these 5 pillars, blah, 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 I'm always going to kind of be a little skeptical of that. And it's not specifically to Claire or to anybody.
I was going to say, I don't know if you can see this or not, over in the comments, somebody has put, my meat is so large I can't walk.
Is that a sausage in your pocket, or is you just happy to see me?
I don't think OE has any mods, or I think Tilton Mill may be a mod now, but I'm not sure if they were yet at this time of this stream.
But I'm always skeptical of that kind of, it has been written down and thus it must be manifested position. So yeah.
Appreciate that. That was much shorter and much more concise. But I know. No, that's good. I agree. Actually, with everything you said. There's Chris Moore. Did you have anything you wanted to go ahead and introduce yourself and any opening thoughts you'd like, and then we'll just kind of work our way around the room, give everybody equal opportunity.
Well, I go by Chris Moore. It's not exactly my real name, but anyway. But the reason why I kind of jumped in is basically it's just for all the, well, I can't really judge because I haven't read the blog or anything from Claire. The thing is that you're still importing old language from said religious textbook, and even if you say do not curse God, or no idols, or even no immorality, well, sexual immoral acts, you're kind of front loading what I'm saying is that you have to essentially every time define what you mean, because it's the language used essentially implies a lot of baggage history with those things, and you're just going to always end up in the back foot if you think that you have a like progressive like progressive ideologies, or just like.
All right. I'm about heading up to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, when we get off here, I'm going to post Skeptic Philosophy's channel and Skeptic Philosophy's stream coming up on the 21st with this woman, with Claire. I'm going to try to post Claire's channel, and I'll post Objective Ethics channel too. So y'all can do what you want about Claire. I think that Objective Ethics and Skeptic Philosophy are great channels to sub to. So yeah, I seen Pixie said she was gonna keep her clothes. Yeah, very good idea. Very good idea. I don't even know how many people we have left after this, but yeah. But be sure and come over there and check it out on the 21st at SP's channel, because I think that I think it'll be worth watching to see because I'm sure he's gonna probably give her some harder questions than what OE did.
Yeah, and I think we should set up a time to talk to Nathan. I think.
Oh yeah, okay.
I think that would be a really interesting conversation. So he's a member of the Fluffle over on Ed's channel, and we were chatting a little bit, and he was talking about being forgiven for voting for Trump. And he might have changed my mind a little bit, but
okay, I thought you said he was currently MAGA. So
no, he's ex. No, I said ex MAGA.
Okay.
And has switched sides, voted Democrat for the first time recently. I think he said, and I need to poke at his brain. And I need you to keep me from looking like an unhinged bitch. So
we have cookies.
I think our powers could combine, and we'd have a good time.
We have cookies on this side.
Yes. Yeah, and rabbits. Very, very cute rabbits. But yeah, because I've been working with DGG recently, and just had a design approved for some merch coming up, so that's exciting.
Awesome.
But they just got their official tax form stuff all situated, so they're an official political election group thingy.
Well, Nathan, did you want to come on?
Well, yes. So Nathan, because he was his living situation is a little precarious. It sounds like.
Oh, that's right. Never mind. He told me that already.
Right. So we'll need to schedule a time. I just saw you were on, and I was like, oh my god, this could work out. And I hadn't even asked you yet. It was like, because it sounded like this was just going to be like a fuck it, let's just stream. So I was like,
well, that's because my free trial in
right. But I told him, I was like, I haven't even approved this for Robin yet. I just know that she'll be interested. So
yeah. Okay.
Just sort of running with it.
I saw what he said in chat. Yeah, great. That's great though. I'm glad, thankful. I live in Kentucky in the deep red Trump area, and all of my family is MAGA. And yeah, it's rough.
Well, rough. And we're a bunch of, this group is a bunch of really level-headed centristy sort of people. I mean, there's no like we're against the tankies. We're not like pro Hassan. We haven't gone. We're not communists. We're not socialists. We're pretty. I like to describe myself as an aggressive centrist because I'm not a fence sitter. Like I have very, very strong opinions. They just happen to kind of, go on both sides. But that's called nuance. That's how nuance works. But yeah, we know that the Democrats have an awful messaging problem, and so being able to talk to somebody who has made that flip and kind of figure out like what it was that put those seeds in there to
Me too.
to do their thing would be information that I would very much like to know. What worked, what didn't. So what can we do better? What can we avoid doing in the future? So my motivations are a little selfish, but I'll just say them up front. And I have an agenda. There's no pretense. That I absolutely have an agenda. But I am. I want to. Our country is burning. It's burning. It's this shit is on fire. It's like this is not a drill. And I want to get this right. And I want to be able to come to the people that I'm working with suggestions and options to help. I'm tired of screaming into the void. It's the entire reason why I joined DGG in the first place, because I am sick of screaming into the void and just I don't like just listening to myself wax poetic. It's I'm good at it, but that doesn't help anybody. It's pretty words.
No, you're not. You're not partly responsible. Like there's no one person that's vote would have changed, but it's always good to have somebody to recognize because it makes us feel like that that there's hope for the other people too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and the conversation that I had with Azo several months ago, I thought went really well. I don't. Let's not even talk. Well, the point. I'm not going to talk about Azo, but the point of that stream was that he voted for Trump, and I wanted to know why, sort of pick his brain, and it really came down to which is kind of what I've been thinking this whole time. It's an information issue, and it's and as Nathan has fully admitted before, it's a cult, and so the same psychology that is needed to deal with cult people that are locked in a cult are the same strategies that we need to be using against the right, just generally, because they really are in an information bubble where they don't live in the same reality as the rest of us. And but there's bridging that bubble.
I see a lot of problems with I see a lot of problems with their ideals of there's a lot of them that don't care about democracy. They actually do not like.
Some are straight up evil, yeah, for sure.
And it's not just information with them. It's like a fundamental misunderstanding of. I understand that about that right there, and I'm pretty bad about it too because I've gotten to where that I took the opposite totally side from them. So but I've seen so many bad opinions. And opinions, we shouldn't be based on opinions. I'm not necessarily a big Democrat supporter either. If we have to pick, this is my saying about the Democrats.
I'm for whoever is sane. I don't give a shit what kind of label they want to put on themselves.
I won't vote for Republicans at all anymore until they cleanse their party. Right. One good Republican could go up there and they would just become part of the mess again. So I think they just need to they have to just purify their whole party and
Yeah,
start over.
I don't think that we'll get better until there's a Nuremberg 2.0, to be completely honest.
But I say that I always say that the Democrats are the crabs, and the Republicans are syphilis.
At least the ones in.
So you know what I mean?
Yeah, at least the ones in office for sure.
They're both sexually transmitted diseases or whatever. They're both STDs, but one is a lot worse than the other.
I could agree with that. Yeah.
But I push and actually Music by Brian. I'm gonna have there's a guy named Owen McDonald who is a British guy who is a socialist who is supposed to be coming on to my channel so me and him can get our schedules together, and you'll really like him. And Ron Paul. Rand Paul is one of my senators, and I've actually got very seldom agree with him, but I've actually got to write him in the recent month or so and thank him for at least standing up for the Alex Preddy and Renee Good and the boat bombings and being anti.
Some of them are finding us fine. Most of them are not, but some of them are finding us fine.
Well, I mean, I feel like though that Rand Paul has actually been where he's at. I mean, he still agrees with Trump on a whole lot.
Rand Paul or Ron Paul? Because Ron Paul's
not. Rand's his son. Rand's my senator.
Right. Like Ron's a libertarian whacked up.
Well, so is Rand Paul. Like he's
right. I mean, because I know, but he's like
he's not
way out there.
Rand's out there too. Like I said, I just
you got to differentiate between the two, sweetie. They can't be both.
I don't know. Well, I mean, he's just been right on a few things, and it's the first time since he's been my senator. Then I've actually thought he was right on anything. Mm-hmm. So I made sure.
Yeah, I don't think Ron is in politics anymore, right?
No.
Didn't he retire? Or something? Yeah. I haven't paid attention.
Yeah, they need to stand up to Trump. Yes. Trump is acting like a dictator. But see, there's a fundamental problem with the fact that many of them have the idea of a dictator.
Well, and that's because
actually don't
Christians fundamentally, and I mean, really, theists of all stripes, they're programmed, like their brains are wired that way to be followers of said dictator. They've actually found that like through brain scans that their brains actually behave differently.
Yeah, me, Brian, I definitely did not like Rand Paul. I definitely still disagree with most everything he believes. Like he's definitely not for universal health care, which I believe I'm very supportive. And I'm beginning to, the more I talk to the socialists, that I'm beginning to believe that we're not ever going to get anything if we stick with just centrists like these ideals of that right there, because they just won't support it. It seems like the Democrats won't. So yeah, I'm probably going to vote. I'm going to keep voting to push the Democratic Party to the left.
Yeah, and I'm just because the problem with the Hassan Pikers of the world is that you can't just rebuild a government from whole cloth. Like that doesn't work. And so we have to change it from within, and none of that matters unless we're in power.
Yeah.
So, if the Democrats and the Republicans are what we got, then we need to put forth better candidates first off, and the Capitol Hill needs to stop being an old folks' home. And
so many things. There's so many things.
Yeah, but we need to elect these people, and they need to get in power first, or none of it matters. And so you can not like them as a them umbrella, but there's it just takes little bits of movement. Politics is slow on purpose.
Welcome,
people forget that.
Welcome over here anytime. It sounds great. I like your thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what is my problem is the silence. I don't even know who that is.
Hassan Piker. He's Destiny's arch nemesis.
Oh well, I know Desi's not a real popular person, but he's actually Pang. I'm connected with Pangburn.
Yeah,
and so
and I'm connected with Destiny. That's who DGG was started.
And
by him, yeah.
Destiny has been our man on the anti-Trump tour. He's been our man on the. Y'all can go over there and check out the latest debate between him and Konstantin Kisin.
Yep.
Konstantin does a lot of crying about getting interrupted.
So much whining. So much whining.
And another person that I watch that is I watch Not So Erudite, and
yeah, I love her. Yeah,
so I recommend her channel too. I like her, as she's recently put a pretty good thumping on Andrew Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
And
yes, she did. She's great.
And Jim Bob too. So that's that was pretty.
Pixie, I think you would like Destiny. He's
I watch him now. Like, yeah, because
I've watched Destiny for years. He's a little spicy. He's got some controversies surrounding him. Do not. It was real easy for me at first to be like, what the fuck? But the more that I watched and got the full context of all the things and all the information, because he is fully transparent about all the bullshit that has been surrounding him in the last year, and all that controversy.
He's said some problematic things before. That's not even about
yeah. He's definitely said some problematic shit. I mean, he started out as a professional gamer who was actually one of the first internet gamer streamers on the internet ever.
I don't play video games, so
yeah, he started. That's how he got his start. He was pretty much like the first one that actually made a living doing internet gaming.
I'm gonna shut this down. I've got to go to the bathroom. I'm about to pee in my pants. And
all right,
I'm glad you came, Merle.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Pixie, anybody who's still out there, I don't know if there's very many out there. Brian, thank y'all for coming. I'm going to try to add these things to this, to the description box of this channel. I mean, on this stream, so everybody can catch up with those other videos. And thank you, Earl, for coming. I appreciate it. And thank you, Phantom.
Yeah, thanks.
You're handier than a shirt pocket. And there's Hello Duck. Hello Duck.
There's
Duck. And
good to see you, Duck. Get you a damn kazoo, Duck. Hurry.
Yeah, and if you're not,
you need to get your kazoo.
Go watch Breakfast Tacos, because I'm sure he's on right now.
Yeah, please don't. Okay.
You don't have to, Earl. But all right, good night. Love y'all.
All right.